Chapter 101. Shui Bing'er and Shui Bing'er join the school, learning flowing water fist and chilled silk palm. Yuer, are you really going to formally take Su teacher as your master? Have you thought that through properly? Oh, sister, you're so long-winded. Didn't we already decide that day? Besides, I can tell Su teacher likes us a lot. Under the starlight, two graceful young women in water blue robes walked toward them. Shuyer smiled, her eyes narrowing into crescent moons. Sister, trust me, Su teacher is definitely a good choice. You know what they say, appearance reflects the heart and spirit shows the aura. He gives off the kind of calm, detached temperament of someone who doesn't meddle in petty affairs. How could he be bad? And sister, even with his face hidden by a mask, you can still tell his features must be perfect. Look at Ning Rongrong, that possessive look. He must be incredibly handsome. The students of Peach Garden Academy are trained so well by Su teacher. We definitely won't lose out if we become his disciples. Shui Yuer was brimming with confidence. If we learn properly, we can even bring Sister Shui Wu and the others to study with us. Together, we'll reach the pinnacle of Tianshui. Yuer, you dream too big. If a spirit master has no ideals, what's the difference between them and a salted fish? All right, I won't hide it from you any longer. I already promised Su teacher that I would come to Peach Garden Academy and accept him as my master after the competition. What? Sister, you actually want to go on your own? That's outrageous. Shui Yuer looped her arm through Shui Bing'er's. No matter what, if you made an appointment, you have to bring me. Don't just talk about taking him as your teacher. Even if you're going to pursue a man, you have to bring me along. No lone trips, at least the two of us. Didn't you say Su teacher likes you? Then why not just accept him yourself? Nya nya nya. Aren't those the two sisters from Tianshui Academy? They came to Peach Garden. No wonder they surrendered so quickly during the promotion round. They had a plan. Let's go in and see. Excuse me, please leave this area. This is a private residence. Visiting or loitering is prohibited. A 7-person patrol of 7 treasure-glazed tile school students stood outside Peach Garden, blocking Huo Wu, Huo Wu, and Feng Xiaotian, who were about to follow Shui Bing'er and the others in. Huo Wu jabbed a finger toward the Peach Garden gates, anger flashing across her face. How can those two sisters go in, but we can't? Those two? They carry Peach Blossom tokens given by Su teacher. They're trusted students of Peach Garden Academy, so of course they can enter. Do you have a Peach Blossom token? The Peach Blossom token was an identity token granted by Su Ran to disciples, a symbol of formal acceptance and the core credential of Peach Garden Academy. A Peach Blossom token? Feng Xiaotian looked puzzled. Is it something you get by kneeling? Huo Wu and Huo Wu glanced at him. Kneeling? Didn't you forget the woman who knelt outside Camp 1 during the promotion round? She ended up being accepted by Peach Garden Academy. Oh, her? Isn't accepting a teacher a difficult thing? But I didn't see Shui Bing'er and the others kneel. Then I don't know. Please do not loiter here. Leave, or we will use force. The 7 treasure-glazed tile guards warned them. Huo Wu's temper would normally have exploded at such a provocation, but something felt off. The guards' eyes were unreadable, and they weren't activating their spirit. Instead, their hands rested on dark, 7-shaped weapons at their waists. That simple gesture carried an inexplicable threat, a feeling that they could be cut down in an instant. Huo Wu calmed and stepped back. Let's go. Farewell, Huo Wu called after them. I'll remember Peach Garden Academy. They retreated. Inside Peach Garden. You really came to officially take him as your master? Seriously. With all this going on, it's both an internal and an external problem now. When Shui Yuer and Shui Bing'er appeared on the lawn, Ning Rongrong's small face instantly changed. Peach Garden Academy was already the focus of powerful eyes. The Heavendu royal family and Spirit Hall both coveted it, so the Academy's students felt a constant pressure. Now Shui Yuer's unexpected arrival only heightened their anxiety. You said you'd come after the competition. Why come so early? Ning Rongrong demanded. Su Ran had just returned from meditation under the peach tree. Shui Yuer skipped over, tilting her head and looking up at him. Because we like Su teacher. I couldn't wait to come. Ning Rongrong nearly choked, then pinched her philtrum in distress. Opponent, this girl confessed to my teacher right away? How bold. No, she's bold toward her teacher. Besides, Shui Yuer continued, I don't want Plan Academy students to bully us in the finals. You know how Plan Academy counters our water-type spirit masters. If it weren't for Sister's strength, we boo-hoo-hoo. Also, she added in a pout, my senior sister is the problem. She already knew Su teacher and accepted him as her master, but kept it from me, her junior sister. How heartbreaking. My senior becomes my junior. Boo-hoo-hoo. Teacher, you can't accept her. Tianshui Academy girls are slippery. She doesn't seem honest. If you accept her, our academy's peace will be upset. Ning Rongrong fretted loudly. Shui Yuer put on an aggrieved face. Senior sister misunderstood. Yuer is very respectful of her teacher. Yuer only wants to be like the senior sisters and brothers, to be a dragon among men, the teacher's pride, to be as extraordinary as you all. Seeing you charge into the arena and fight 100 at once made Yuer so envious. Senior sister Rongrong, she speaks so nicely. Did you misunderstand her? Wang Sheng rubbed his head and looked fondly at Shui Yuer. She had called him senior brother and praised him. Of course he was pleased. Yes, Captain, she seems sincere. She doesn't look like she has ulterior motives. Aren't you being biased? I think she makes some sense. Ning Rongrong froze. Wait, whose side are you on? On teacher's side. All right, Suran said. Since you've come and your aptitudes are not bad, I'll make one thing clear. After joining Peach Garden, although I will guide your cultivation, you must follow the school rules. No harboring evil thoughts, no arrogance or recklessness. Do you understand? Our Peach Garden ritual is simple. You swear an oath with a peach branch, engrave it in your heart, and perform a kowtow ceremony. Then the ritual is complete. He plucked a few peach branches from the tree and placed them before Shui Yuer and Shui Bing'er. The sisters took them. Shui Yuer blinked with watery blue eyes and couldn't help asking, Teacher, after we become your disciples, can we see your face? Yuer, don't make things difficult for your teacher. Shui Bing'er tugged Shui Yuer's sleeve and stepped forward. She had prepared herself and led the ritual. Disciple Shui Bing'er, grateful for teacher's grace, formally enters the school today. I will diligently study and not disgrace the academy. Discipleship greets teacher. Under the starlight by the peach tree, the two delicate young women in water-blue robes knelt and kowtowed to Suran in turn. A system panel appeared at that moment, accepted and Shui Bing'er as disciples. Spirit, Ice Phoenix, level 43. Control-oriented spirit master. Rare spirit, Ice type. Gentle, broad-minded. Innate talent rating S+. Spirit, Green Sea Jade Porpoise, Bihayutun. Level 36, Agility Attack System Spirit Master. Water type, Playful and Image Conscious. Innate talent rating S. Total rewards, Spirit Power increased by 0.3 levels. All Spirit Ring ages and Spirit Bone ages increased by 8%. Water and Ice type Unique Skill Extraction Chances 3. Water and Ice type Rare Herb Extraction Chances 3. Water and Ice type Spirit Bone Extraction Chances 2. Chapter 102, Finals. If we meet Tang San and Ma Hongjin in the finals. For Bing'er, your temperament is gentle but carries a chill. I'll first teach you the Icy Soft Palm and the Skyfrost Fist. They complement one another, one for refined, sealing power, the other for crushing force. This Icy Soft Palm stores ice-sealing power in the palm. Once you grasp the basics, a touch can instantly freeze and stiffen an opponent's muscles, seal their 7 orifices, and slow their blood flow. At full mastery, the ice penetrates the body. A strike can congeal all meridians, solidify the blood, shut down organs, and turn that soft ice into thousands of needles that pierce outward from within. The Skyfrost Fist refines your blows with ice energy. It has 14 forms and is a powerful boxing system. Devastating, but it consumes a tremendous amount of spirit power. The next day, Suran began teaching Shui Bing'er and Shui Yuer their exclusive techniques in Peach Garden. These lessons ranged from fundamentals to advanced moves, tailored to each girl's spirit nature. Shui Yuer learned the Flowing Water Fist and the Wave-Subduing Art. The Flowing Water Fist. Flowing water is gentle, similar in essence to Taiji, though Taiji is formless and flow has form. In basic fist combat, flowing water techniques obscure the opponent's vision and offer advantages over Taiji. Its advanced form is Flowing Water Rock Shatter. The Wave-Subduing Art draws one close to the element of water, letting the user control tides and oceanous calamities. Mastering it allows one to raise 100 waves, step on water to ascend into the heavens, and calm the seas. During the few rest days after the promotion rounds, the Plant Academy's 3 apprentices also came to Peach Garden for extra practice. They couldn't hope to surpass senior sister Rongrong and the others so quickly, but every bit of training might help when the finals arrived. Yuer, focus. Grasp the essence of flowing water. It's alive, not stagnant. Follow its nature. Use softness to overcome hardness. Only when you can use flowing water fist to block senior brother Wang Sheng's tiger form fist and calmly handle restraining types like Mu Yuntang will you make real progress. Watching Shu Yuer practice beneath the peach trees, Su Ran couldn't help but prod. Yuer's focus lagged behind Bing'er's, and she learned more slowly. After half a day of training, she was sore all over. She looked at her teacher with a languid smile. "I've been practicing boxing for over 2 hours. I'm truly out of water, not a single drop left. How about teacher gives my face a look? Maybe I could shed a little more." Flowing water fist relies on a continuous flow of water when practiced. Without water, there is no fist. Under the same tree, Su Ran was playing chess with Chen Xin. Chen Xin chuckled. Dean Su's teaching is truly admirable. The 7-treasure glazed tile school has that unique 7-skill multitasking method, making it the pinnacle of support-type spirit masters, and you always tailor your instruction to the individual. Your foundations are as deep as an abyss. Still, I've wondered, why do you always wear a mask and refuse to show your face? Su Ran waved and moved a piece. It's out of necessity, Sai. Chen Xin spoke for the students. We're all curious about your face. It might actually strengthen the teacher-student bond if you showed yourself. Isn't that what you teach, that the highest good is like water? Su Ran seemed thoughtful, then shook his head. I fear the teacher-student closeness might grow too quickly. That's an unusual worry, Chen Xin said with a grin. Then he leaned forward. By the way, when did you take that student? You raised her so well. Her sword talent is superb. I'd be eager to take her as a disciple. Chen Xin's gaze flicked occasionally toward the new students, especially Mu Yunju from the Plant Academy. Her sword art distracted him. You mean Yunju? Is Sword Douluo recruiting disciples now? Su Ran cast a look at Chen Xin. Chen Xin's temptation was obvious. If it were her, with her talent and sword art, reaching title Douluo is only a matter of time. The title of the #1 swordsman below title Douluo could be hers. Still, her sword art must have been taught by you, Dean Su. Her spirit is green bamboo, yet she cultivates the sword Dao. I can't teach such a student. Your methods are ingenious. Her sword forms aren't yet polished, but their depth is clear. How many sword techniques do you still have hidden? Chen Xin shook his head in admiration. He hadn't even completely mastered the Taiji sword, and now, as protector, he felt like he'd found a new continent. The Elite Soul Master competition finals start soon. We should depart tomorrow. If all goes well, I'll test swords with Sword Douluo afterward and trade 3 techniques that rival that white ape sword art. Su Ran answered calmly. Chen Xin's eyes brightened, and he cupped his hands. I couldn't ask for more. If it was anyone else's sword art, Chen Xin might disdain it. But if it was Su Ran's, that was different. As dusk settled, Mu Yunju, Mu Yuntang, Yao Zi, Shui Bing'er, Shui Yuer, and the others finished a day of intensive training. After becoming Su Ran's disciples, they finally understood why the Peach Garden's 7-member team was so formidable. It came from 2 sources: top-tier instruction from their teacher and tireless, methodical practice. Training at Peach Garden Academy wasn't like the weighted drills at school. It demanded sweat and daily insight, boxing until the body ached and spirit power ran thin. Senior brother Wang Sheng and senior sister Dugu Yan had warned them Peach Garden's training would only become tougher. Here the teacher had eased the standards because of limited conditions. At the evening assembly, Su Ran stood before the students and summarized the recent progress for the 5 new disciples. Over these past days, I'm pleased you kept coming to study. Yaozi, Mu Yuntang, Mu Yunju, you 3 have trained over 20 days. Your basic, unique techniques have reached introductory levels. Now you must familiarize yourselves, integrate the forms, and stop being limited to rote motions. Bing'er, Yuer, you've only trained a few days. You haven't fully memorized the forms yet, but I have given you engraved diagrams for forms and mental cultivation. Study these. For now, return to your academies and cultivate on your own. Don't slack off. Be diligent. After the finals, report back to Peach Garden for further instruction. I'll be watching your performance in the finals. Teacher, are you abandoning us? The students had grown attached to Suran and detected a distance in his tone. Suran shook his head. Of course not. You're all my disciples. I acknowledged you personally with Peach Blossom tokens. How could I abandon you? But the finals will be dangerous. If you're too closely tied to Peach Garden Academy, you might draw danger on the academy as well. Besides, I must devote time to my own cultivation. Shui and the others protested. Is there danger for Peach Garden Academy? We're part of it now. We're willing to face difficulties with the academy. Very commendable, Suran said, smiling faintly. As your senior, I'm glad to hear that. Still, return to your academies and practice hard. If danger comes and you're unprepared, you won't be much help. Ning Rongrong, who had already packed her luggage, came forward in her capacity as senior sister as Suran was dismissing the new students. She issued a mission with an impressively generous bonus. By the way, I didn't say this as your teacher, but as your senior sister. If you meet the Heaven Do Royal Academy's seeded team in the finals, or a team with members named Tang San, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, or Yu Tianheng, beat them to a pulp for me. They've been disrespectful to teacher, and their teacher is despicable. Whoever severely injures any one of them, I'll reward you 50,000 gold coins. If you defeat their entire team, each of you will get 100,000 gold coins. Understood? Her bold words left the students startled and amused in equal measure. The finals were close now. Every lesson, every reward, and every promise would matter when they faced what lay ahead. Chapter 103, Heading to Spirit City for the Finals, Suran's 8 Lifetimes of Meditation. Spirit City sat on the border between the Heaven Do Empire and the Star Luo Empire, an autonomous region. From Heaven Do City to Spirit City stretched more than half the length of the empire. The 15 teams representing Heaven Do City traveled together, riding in the night-drawn carriages provided by the Heaven Do royal family. Peach Garden Academy, having won first place in both the preliminaries and the promotion rounds, naturally rode in the lead carriage. Each team had 2 or 3 carriages, typically separated into student carriages and teacher carriages. In Tianshui Academy's carriage, Shui Bing'er and Shui Wu sat together, glancing out the window as they tried to spot the Peach Garden banner. They held the apprenticeship gifts and a letter of guidance their teacher had given them. Bing'er, the letter said, the secondary immortal grade flower I prepared for you, the Frost Soul Orchid Ice, can, once absorbed, strengthen your spirit and aid your cultivation of the Frozen Ice Cotton Palm and the Heaven Frost Fist, Ice Frost Sky Phoenix. The finals will be much tougher than the preliminaries. For Tianshui Academy to break through, it will take more than luck. It will depend on your strength as team captain. The Ice and Snow Drifting Fusion ability depends on your Ice Phoenix's release and is supplemented by Shui Wu's snowflakes to produce powerful area damage. You use that fusion to defeat many opponents in the preliminaries, but relying on a 2-person fusion in the finals will be difficult. Spirit Masters who pursue extreme attributes are often the best candidates for multi-person fusion abilities. If you can bring Yu and others into your fusion, forming a 3-person or larger fusion, and adapt Ice and Snow Drifting into a tracking Ice and Snow Assault with their help, its power and reach will increase dramatically. Combine this with diligent refinement of your unique skills, and Tianshui can become a top team. The details and methods are in the attached instructions. Yu, the letter continued, your temperament is impulsive, and you're prone to flights of fancy, so you struggle to stay grounded. The azure water lily of the valley will calm you, smooth your flowing water, and help you and Bing'er cooperate. You two are like sisters, and your spirits resonate strongly. If you absorb it, even elementary flowing water fist and wave-subduing art will significantly boost Tianshui's strength. Both flowers were exquisite. The members of Tianshui Academy who saw them were visibly surprised. They didn't know the exact purpose of the blooms, but the aura of affinity around them spoke of their rarity and worth. Are these from Peach Garden Academy's teacher? Someone guessed. Captain Yuer, you two really hid this from us. You secretly took apprentices with Peach Garden. We should have suspected. That peach blossom branch that helped Bing'er in the preliminaries, that must have been Master Su from Peach Garden, right? Master Su's spirit is really beautiful. Peach Garden lives up to its name. After the promotion rounds, when Master Su had released his spirit, his peach blossom branch, and linked it to the Spirit Hall's platinum emblem, Shui Wu and the others had watched in admiration. Girls, after all, love beautiful things, and Suran's peach blossom branch was one of the most ethereal spirits on the continent. Few spirits could rival its charm. It stirred young hearts and left them breathless. Leng Yuhan called Shui Bing'er and Shui Yuer into the teacher's carriage for a talk. They didn't hide the matter. The sisters truthfully told her they had accepted apprenticeships with Peach Garden. Leng Yuhan was silent for a long time. Tianshui Academy had been the best place for them to study, but could Peach Garden be an exception? Could they learn more there? She could not decide easily. 3 girls from Plant Academy, Yao Zi, Mu Yunju, and Mu Yunteng, had received similar secret guidance letters from Su Ran. The letters explained cultivation precautions and how to make the most of their specialties during the finals. The 3 rode southward in their carriage, watching the landscape change with complex feelings. Their teacher was very busy. Su Ran personally trained the Spirit Master team at Peach Garden, organized practice matches, taught cultivation methods and unique skills tailored to each student, and patiently guided them through details and match play. Where else on the continent could one find such a dedicated teacher? In Peach Garden Academy's lead carriage, Su Ran sat alone, eyes open. Within them bloomed crimson moon peach blossoms, as if twin dragons of ice and fire swam in their depths. He exhaled slowly. "I still can't do it," he murmured. "How do I pass the 9th tribulation?" The system's title-tempering trials were not just about strength. They tested the character and artistic conception of being a teacher. They were also an assessment of Su Ran's current ethics and teaching spirit. In each tribulation, he entered a lifetime of reincarnation in meditation. The first tribulation, endured poverty, lived as a slave with no one to rely on, wandered for 60 years, drifting through a life of hardship. The second tribulation, toiled constantly like a beast of burden, cared for parents above and a family below, satisfied with life's basic necessities. The third tribulation, rose to power, entangled in corruption, touched high authority, suppressed the common people, accumulated jade and gold as a revered official. Then disaster struck, turning glory to nothing. 5 years of splendor vanished like a dream. The fourth lifetime wielded a blade in the dark. Cold light spatters blood, a life of secret killing. One day his conscience awoke to the lingering karma, and half his life was lost to regret. The sixth tribulation lived as a prodigal son, heaven-favored talent wasted by indulgence. Once he looked up at the gates of heaven and then back, he found his life scattered like ash. The eighth lifetime, a sword immortal of his generation, fell into dust, endured the scorn of the world, drank and debated swordsmanship, walked the path of wine and sword again. In the clear night, even the moon was unbearable. These many lifetimes of meditation had made Su Ran's mental force exceptionally strong. Even if it was not the compounded strength of 8 simultaneous souls, it was at least the equivalent of 3. They had let him witness human warmth and coldness, understand human affairs, accept fate, and realize that pitiable people have hateful sides and hateful people have pitiable ones. He had learned not to view the world with narrow prejudice and not to live with rigid stubbornness. What troubled him now was that, no matter how he secluded himself and cultivated, he couldn't enter the meditation for the 9th lifetime. It was as if the 9th lifetime simply didn't exist. That unsettled Su Ran, who was usually calm. If he couldn't attach the 9th spirit ring, this trip to Spirit City would become even more dangerous. Perhaps hunting for a spirit ring himself was the only option. After a long stretch of travel, they passed through a less filled valley and paused to rest. Su Ran stepped out of the carriage and looked across the landscape. Unsettled, but not afraid. He felt confident in his own precautions and power. He worried only for his students. "Dean Su," a voice came. A beautiful woman dressed in green shook her head vigorously and then tapped the golden circlet on her forehead twice with her fist, an odd little motion that relieved her headache. As the finals neared, her thoughts multiplied and bothered her. Seeing Suran approach, she forced a smile. "Why the sigh, Dean Su? Are you already worried about the finals?" she asked lightly. Chapter 104, Peach Blossom Branch Displays Divine Might, instantly killing a spirit Douluo. "Lose? You think I'm afraid of losing to Yu Xiaogong?" Liu Erlong snapped. Hiss, don't mention his name, it still hurts," someone muttered. Liu Erlong was the protector of the Seven Treasures young sect master, accompanying Ning Rongrong. Suran glanced at her coolly. "Winning and losing are part of war," he said. "I'm not afraid of losing. If I lose a bet I accepted, it means I wasn't good enough. The one who's afraid of losing should be someone else. If I'm not mistaken, he should have already gone to Spirit City 10 days ago, right?" Liu Erlong's headache made her words ragged. She looked at Suran with surprise. "How do you know? Have you been tracking him?" "I didn't track him. I just know his nature. The performance of my students must have put enormous pressure on him. To win this bet, he even had you infiltrate Taoyuan Academy. How could he not call on the might of Spirit Hall behind him?" Liu Erlong gritted her teeth and tried to suppress the pain. "Dean Su, you misunderstand Xiaogong. He said he admires your talent and thought that if I came to Taoyuan Academy, you could help me with my mutated spirit. That's why he sent me. From what I've seen the last few days, Dean Su is a good teacher. You and Xiaogong are both clever people who understand spirits. Why can't you just shake hands?" "You should ask your grandmaster that," Suran replied. Purple-blue veins throbbed along Liu Erlong's temple. She clenched her fist and struck the nearby dirt slope hard, sending up a plume of dust. "The bet was Yu Xiaogong's idea. It isn't the first time. If he played fair and showed his strength, I'd have no complaint. I never thought of him as an enemy." Suran recounted the long history of grievances between Yu Xiaogong and Taoyuan Academy. Liu Erlong listened, first incredulous, then uneasy. "With Xiaogong's character, how could he actively challenge you?" she said. "He's not that sort of person." "What do you think Grandmaster will do when he reaches Spirit City this time?" Suran asked, tapping the diamond circle on Liu Erlong's head just enough to ease the pain. Rational conversation needed a clear head. "He'll probably prepare his students for the finals," she answered after a pause. "He may go to Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong of Spirit Hall and ask for secret cultivation methods. Strike some kind of cooperation so Heaven Do Royal Academy and Spirit Hall's team get a head start. After getting to Spirit City, he'll try to get information about my students. He might even lead Spirit Hall into an ambush on the way and target our students," Suran finished. Liu Erlong denied it vehemently. "That's impossible. Xiaogong wouldn't stoop to that. It doesn't fit him." "Fine. You can't force someone to wake from pretending to sleep." Suran shook his head. "I'll give you one last chance. I can loosen the diamond circle for you now. You can leave Taoyuan Academy and return to Heaven Do City. After the competition, whatever you and your grandmaster have to settle will have nothing to do with us." "I'm not leaving," Liu Erlong said stubbornly. "I want to see if what you say is true. If I'm wrong, fine. Let me wear this golden hoop for the rest of my life. If you're wrong, I came for Xiaogong and I won't regret it." "As you wish," Suran said. "But it's a one-time choice." Before Liu Erlong could respond, the valley around them thundered. Rocks began to tumble from the surrounding peaks, dust choking the air as the team's carriages and horses scattered. The rockfalls seemed deliberately triggered, breaking the group apart. Suran's eyes narrowed. "I just mentioned it. I didn't expect them so soon." Liu Erlong swallowed and whispered, "Who's coming? Spirit Hall?" Dean Su was right. Those scoundrels from Spirit Hall are restless and they've come for Taoyuan Academy. Chen Xin stepped out of his carriage. His spirit sword energy sliced through a giant boulder overhead. His spiritual perception swept 1,000 meters. The falling rocks weren't natural. They'd been used purposely to separate the academies, and Taoyuan Academy was singled out. Several Taoyuan students leapt from their carriage, spirits activated, taking up defensive stances. Together they struck, blasting rocks aside. "Teacher, Spirit Hall would really move this soon?" one of the students asked. "Protect yourselves." Suran's face hardened. He rose into the air, a peach blossom branch in his hand, and streaked upward through the rock falls. He called to both sides of the valley, voice calm but carrying. "If you're coming to act, then come out." "Intelligence," said Su Ran, Taoyuan Academy's teacher, "shouldn't be underestimated. He's alert." A shout returned. Black-clad figures poured out from the valley. Their leader bore a pair of golden eagle wings on his back. With a gesture, he sent his men surging at Taoyuan's students. Su Ran no longer held back. Behind him, a transcendent peach tree seemed to blossom in the sky. He stood, the elegant peach blossom branch in his hand. A black spirit ring on his body flashed, and with a casual sweep, hundreds of thousands of peach blossom branches launched into the air. The sight was beyond belief. Those dozens of black-clad attackers were struck down or grievously wounded in an instant. The Golden Eagle Spirit Master, the leader, was pursued by 100 branches up into the sky for thousands of meters. Bloodied feathers drifted down as his body fell like a meteor. A spirit Douluo struck down. "What strength, what a magnificent spirit," someone murmured in awe. "An immortal-grade peach blossom branch, comparable to my own spirit. No wonder it's called the #1 plant-type spirit. I could offer you a position. If you agreed, I'd spare you." "Sir, we were merely sent to invite you to be guests." "Why kill at once?" another voice said. A figure in an orange-yellow robe dropped from above the valley. Her voice was rough, neither wholly feminine nor masculine. She looked at Su Ran with obvious satisfaction. "Another one. Come out together." Su Ran's gaze shifted elsewhere. A black vortex opened. "Spirit Hall's little flower and little ghost," he said flatly. "They actually sent 2 titled Douluo to deal with Taoyuan Academy. How shameless." Chen Qin's expression turned grim. "How did they know the grade of Dean Su's spirit? Even I don't know the exact level of his spirit." "Do you even need to ask?" Ning Rongrong snapped. "It has to be Yu Xiaogang. Who else would know? He and the Shrek team must have colluded with Spirit Hall to ambush us." Lu Erlong's face went pale at the accusation. The memory of Su Ran's words hit her. Her head throbbed anew. Could Xiaogang really have conspired with that woman? The pain in her temples flared, and she clutched her head. At that moment, the peach blossom branch in Su Ran's hand glowed with a crimson spirit ring. He spoke calmly. 3 seconds. 3 seconds, someone echoed, incredulous. "I'll give you 3 seconds to leave. After that, I can't guarantee whether you live or die." A scoffing laugh rose. "Ha, don't think you're invincible just because you have an immortal-grade spirit. I have one too, level 95. His voice cut off in shock. "What? It's actually a 100,000-year spirit ring." "No. Chapter 105, tell your Supreme Pontiff, do not do unto others what you would not have them do unto you." That looks like Teacher Su's figure. Teacher Su unleashed his spirit? Is that Teacher Su's spirit? It's so beautiful, so powerful. His spirit power is this high? Are those all from Spirit Hall? They actually dared to attack Teacher Su openly. No wonder he warned us in Heaven Do City. This trip to Spirit City would be dangerous. In the valley, the students from Shui Academy and the Plant Academy pushed aside fallen rocks and could just make out Teacher Su's extraordinary figure several hundred meters away. None of them had ever seen the full manifestation of his spirit. Su Ran hung suspended in the air. Behind him, the peach blossom branch had burst into astonishing life, branches so lush they seemed to blot out sun and sky. Wherever those blossoms spread, vitality surged. The countless peach blossoms converged at the valley's highest point into a blazing cluster, and from that brilliant crown, a fiery red dragon, immense, dignified, and full of yang energy, coiled above the peach garden like an imperial guardian. As Su Ran shifted a finger, the entire peach garden bowed, and the dragon's divine power descended. 8th spirit ability, Setting Sun. Rumble. 8th spirit ability, Gate of Holy Light. 8th spirit ability, Ghost and Demon. Seeing the momentum of Su Ran's spirit ability, Yue Guan and Gui Mei were shocked and reacted immediately, unleashing their strongest single-target spirit abilities to protect themselves. This was a technique born of a spirit beast with over 100,000 years of power. Its force was unparalleled and carried the essence of a divine fire dragon. Even a super Douluo would not gamble against it lightly. With a roar, the front of the valley collapsed, dust throwing up into the sky. "Pfft, Chrysanthemum Pass, are you dead? Damn, Grandmaster, he lied to us." His peach blossom branch isn't an ordinary plant-type spirit at all. It's immortal grade, My odd-shaped silvery chrysanthemum is trembling. It's trembling. Ah, Dragon Duke and Snake Woman. Chen Qin is here too. Old ghost, run! From the ashes, Yu Guan spat a mouthful of old blood. Gui Mei was little better off. She dragged Yu Guan and fled toward the edge of the yellow sand. But a peach blossom branch shot out and blocked their escape like a thrown spear. A note hung on the branch. Shocked, they looked back and heard a calm voice call out, "Go back and tell your Supreme Pontiff, do not do unto others what you would not have them do unto you. Attacking from the shadows is a petty scheme. I disdain to attack students, but if you can do it, so can I." Spirit City, Supreme Pontiff Palace. Two figures stumbled into the grand hall, leaning on each other, their clothes burned and tattered, one in yellow, one in black. The dignified woman presiding over the hall glanced down at the note they handed in. A ripple passed over her face. "Do not do unto others what you would not have them do unto you. If you can do it, so can I." Is this person warning and threatening the Supreme Pontiff? How presumptuous. Supreme Pontiff, his strength is extremely formidable. If it weren't for the old ghost's elusive movement technique, making him hard to lock onto, and for the fact they had to protect their students, I don't think we would have made it back. He has 100,000-year spirit ring. His power is the strongest I've ever seen. Yue Guan and Gui Mei reported in trembling voices. The setting sun move reminded them of the power unleashed by a 100,000-year spirit beast from more than a decade ago. This time, it had been no less devastating. I have long suspected Suran is exceptional. Even a level 95 titled Douluo cannot be underestimated. Besides, his academy has members from the 7-treasure glazed tile school. The heavyweights of that school won't sit idly by. If you use unscrupulous methods, the chance of success is tiny. The middle-aged man who had come through the side door of the Supreme Pontiff Palace spoke coldly. "You still chose the lowest, most undignified option in the end. I'm very disappointed. It was clearly your intelligence that Suran of Peach Garden Academy had at most the strength of a spirit Douluo that led us to set the ambush," one of the injured accused. "I merely reported the situation of Peach Garden Academy. I never ordered you to attack them," the middle-aged man said calmly. Yue Guan and Gui Mei, already badly hurt, coughed up blood at his words. This was the man who had come swaggering into Spirit Hall 10 days ago. He clearly had some favor with the Supreme Pontiff. Fine. Since the operation failed, so be it. This Supreme Pontiff wants to see what the team trained by Teacher Su of Peach Garden Academy truly has. Bibi Dong clenched the note and said icily, "Suran had been audacious enough to threaten the Supreme Pontiff herself. How intolerable. You two go heal your injuries first," she added. "Right?" Yue Guan and Gui Mei forced ascent and left the hall, nursing severe wounds. Yue Guan's spirit, the odd-shaped silvery chrysanthemum, and Gui Mei's spirit had been damaged. Both were even showing signs of spirit power regression, a grave condition for spirit masters at their level. Outside the palace, Yue Guan grumbled, resentful and baffled. What kind of grandmaster is he? He has no spirit power, yet he walks around with the Supreme Pontiff's backing. He's not even that impressive. I don't understand why she values him so much. Enough. Supreme Pontiff has her reasons, but the two of us probably can't serve her for a while. Suran's strength is terrifying, maybe even stronger than Tang Hao. Gui Mei's chiseled face was shadowed with fear. Yue Guan, however, looked at the note with something like awe. What a pity. If Supreme Pontiff had issued a recruitment order, how wonderful that would be. His spirit made my odd-shaped silvery chrysanthemum tremble. That alone shows his spirit quality surpasses mine. Beautiful, truly an immortal grade spirit. Back inside, the middle-aged man, Yu Xiaogong, took one last look and said to Bibi Dong, "This is my last visit for a while. The finals are about to begin. I still believe Peach Garden Academy will be your biggest opponent in the finals. Their methods are brutal. My nephew Yu Tianxian hasn't fully recovered yet. If Spirit Hall draws Peach Garden Academy first, I hope you won't be careless. After all, you were once the woman I loved. Although there's no future for us, I don't wish to see your students harmed. I hope our two teams meet in the grand finals." He turned and left with a trace of regret. Bibi Dong's face flickered at the words. There had been something between them once. She wanted to call after him, but pride and the weight of her office held her back, and she only watched him go. The next morning, Spirit City was bright, and all the teams for the finals had arrived. At the Seven Treasure Hotel, the 7 students of Peach Garden Academy still wore the anger from the ambush on their faces. When Ning Fengji and Gu Rong learned what had happened on the road, their expressions hardened. Spirit Hall is despicable, daring to attack Teacher Su in the open. In the coming days, the students will stay with Bone Uncle and me in the hotel. With Bone Uncle and Sword Uncle protecting them, Spirit Hall will not dare act rashly. Teacher Su, when I heard Peach Garden Academy was ambushed, I was furious. It's a shame we arrived after the battle ended. If you don't mind, the 2 of us will guard the Peach Garden students. Should Spirit Hall come again, I will fight them to the death. Snake Woman's eyes shone with tears. Talent arouses envy. Spirit Hall's treatment of Su Ran, a peach immortal among men, was unforgivable. Thank you all for your concern. We're already in Spirit City. All the major academies from the 2 empires are watching this matter. So Spirit Hall should think twice before acting again, Su Ran said with narrowed eyes. Besides, my message has been delivered. Yue Guan and Gui Mei won't be able to act again. In the valley, he had already seriously wounded those 2. The Supreme Pontiff Palace appeared formidable, but in truth, only a couple of Super Douluo were available, and the Hall of Elders and the Supreme Pontiff Palace were not unified in purpose. Unless Bibi Dong acted personally, Chen Xin and Gu Rong's protection would keep them safe. Ning Fengji's expression turned solemn. Dean Su, whatever comes next, I, Ning Fengji, guarantee that the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School will stand by your side. Chapter 106. Two-Faced Dog. Yu Xiaogong. Acupressure technique makes young girls blush. The next day, Spirit City woke to a clear, cloudless sky. Most students from the more than 30 teams across the continent wore faint, expectant smiles as they made their way to the Duhun Arena before the Supreme Pontiff Palace. Only a few teams, Tianshui Academy and Plant Academy among them, had students who looked worried, especially the pretty girls fretting about their teachers. Shui Bing'er, Yao Zi, and the others felt that familiar surge of anger. Not only had Heaven Do Royal Academy's seeded team become their primary rival, now Spirit Hall Academy had its sights on them as well. After more than 2 months of competition, congratulations to everyone who reached the finals of the Elite Soul Master competition, an announcer called. Teams from both empires have arrived, a total of 33 teams. The finals will use a draw-based elimination system. 3 seeded teams will receive byes in the first round, and in the second round, the top 2 teams from each empire's advancement rounds will also receive byes. I now invite the teachers from each academy to the central stage to draw lots for the matchups. The opening ceremony was brief. The audience was mostly spirit masters from Spirit Hall. Su Ran stepped onto the central stage to draw while the students held their breath, eyes fixed on the matchups. Outside the arena, in a quiet corner, a different kind of scene played out. Erlong, how are things at Peach Garden Academy? The middle-aged man asked. Lu Erlong glanced at him. The golden hoop around her head was tightening by the minute, and despite the pain she felt a flicker of gratitude at his concern. I'm managing, she said. It's good to hear. I told you Peach Garden would suit you. By the way, did Su Ran teach you a method to cultivate your mutated spirit? You've been training there a while now. You must be getting to know the students well, right? Yu Xiaogong's voice was casual, but his question caught her like a knife. She remembered what Su Ran had said in the valley. Xiaogong had come to ask. The hoop tightened, sending a fresh wave of agony through her skull. If he taught me the method, she began, testing him. Erlong, Yu Xiaogong said lightly, we were lovers once. If he can teach you and help you grow stronger, I'll be happy for you. If you want, I can evaluate whether what he taught you is appropriate. You, Liu Erlong's expression flickered. Xiaogong, isn't your spirit mutated too? What are you getting at? Do you think I'm asking about you for my own sake? I'm thinking of you, he snapped, oblivious to the pain on her face, but immediately catching the distrust in her tone. She pressed both hands to the hoop against her temples and forced the question. Xiaogong, did Spirit Hall's ambush on Peach Garden Academy have anything to do with you? Tell me the truth. His expression hardened. Of course not. Do you see me that way? If you do, then we have nothing to talk about. No need to meet. That's not. If that's not what you meant, then what is it? Have you learned to doubt our golden triangle at Peach Garden Academy? Is this how you repay my promises? He cut her off. I can't say, Liu Erlong blurted, wreathing on the ground. Can't say or won't say. I, Yu Xiaogang, have always been upright and honorable. If you don't trust me, why meet me at all? Fine, I wish you well at Peach Garden Academy. He flicked his sleeve and left. Xiaogang, Liu Erlong called after him, eyes full of hurt, but he was already gone. Back in the Duhun Arena, Su Ran had finished the draw. The tournament's elimination format would speed the finals along. 33 teams reduced round by round until only the last few remained. Su Ran returned to Peach Garden Academy's waiting area where Ning Rongrong and the others clustered around him. Teacher, who are we up against? Ning Rongrong asked. It's a pity that Spirit Hall Academy and Heaven Dew Royal Academy both got byes as seeded teams in the first round, someone grumbled. Su Ran was unbothered. Your first opponent is from Star Luo Empire, Fire Leopard Academy. Their strength is average. Play normally, and you'll win. In the second round, you get a bye, so a victory here puts you directly into the quarterfinals. The 15 teams advancing from Star Luo Empire were largely weaker than the 4 elemental academies. Peach Garden had little pressure. Most of the teams likely to reach the top 16 or top 8 would be from Heaven Do Empire. From her high vantage point in the Supreme Pontiff Palace, Bibi Dong watched the Peach Garden and Heaven Do Royal Academy teams with interest. Peach Garden Academy's roster: Teacher Su Ran, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Meng Yiran, Xiao Wu, Du Guyan, Wang Sheng, Ye Lingling. Only 7 members, no substitutes. Each of them performed well in the preliminaries and advancement rounds. Ning Rongrong's Golden Bell cover is impenetrable. Xiao Wu's two-form boxing uses leverage to overcome stronger opponents. Du Guyan's poison is terrifying. Platinum Bishop Solace reported respectfully from behind her. Indeed, an extraordinary teacher, Bibi Dong mused. No wonder Yo Guan and Gui Mei suffered under him. Still, their spirit power is a bit weak. Your Holiness mustn't be careless. The techniques these students learned at Peach Garden Academy are unpredictable. Enough. This Supreme Pontiff will keep an eye on them, Bibi Dong said coolly. Not long after, Yu Xiaogang returned to the Heaven Do seating area with a disheveled woman trailing behind him. Her hair was messy, as if she'd been tormented. Bibi Dong's grip on her scepter tightened, her expression darkened. The woman's appearance at such a critical moment irked her deeply. A cold voice transmitted to Yu Xiaogang from nearby. Who is she? Your new lover? He answered in a low voice, almost casual. Like you, an old acquaintance I once had feelings for, but she's changed. Is that so? Came the terse reply. Announcers called the matches. First round, Plant Academy versus Blazing Academy. First round, Tianshui Academy versus Star Luo Royal Academy's second team. As expected, Peach Garden Academy won easily in their opening match. Su Ran and his students did not leave the arena. They stayed to watch the other bouts. The teams of Tianshui and Plant Academy had members who had received Su Ran's temporary teachings. Tianshui was already strong, and Shui Bing'er's comprehension was excellent, so her victory seemed likely. Su Ran was most curious about Plant Academy's match. Huo Wu of Blazing Academy was arrogant and hot-headed. She'd been defeated by Peach Garden Academy twice and wanted to prove herself. From the start, she coordinated tightly with her brother Huo Wu Shuang, pressing a fierce attack that relied on their attribute advantage over Plant Academy. They presumed the 3 Plant Academy girls, rumored to have trained at Peach Garden, would be easy prey. What they didn't expect was how much 1 month of focused training under Su Ran could change a student. The Plant Academy trio commanded their teammates to focus on defense while they took calculated action. Mu Yuntang's Azure Vine had grown thicker and tougher than before, and she'd learned a technique Su Ran called vine knotting, a defensive ability that quickly wove the vine into a hexagonal, diamond-like lattice capable of withstanding tremendous force. Even the fire of the Huo siblings couldn't burn it away instantly. Yao Zi's thorny barrier then sealed their line of defense, neutralizing much of the Huo siblings' offense. Under the cover of Mu Yuntang's Azure Snake Whip, Yao Zi launched a counterstrike. A fiery bird phantom streaked along the thorny whip and forced the Huo siblings to retreat. Yao Zi's whip was barbed. When it struck, it could tear skin, and combined with the vermilion bird technique's brutality, it made even confident spirit masters wary. As Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang grappled with Yao Zi's assault, Mu Yunju, bamboo staff in hand, moved to take out Blazing Academy's other team members. Her bamboo didn't have innate fire immunity, but her swordplay was precise. She found weak points in fractions of a second and struck with lethal accuracy. How is this possible? Huo Wu muttered as two teammates fell out of the fight. In the preliminaries, Blazing Academy had beaten Plant Academy easily. How had things changed so fast? While Huo Wu hesitated, Mu Yuntang's azure vine looped around through a tricky angle, emerging from the scorched ground. It tapped Huo Wu's shoulder and the back of her head, just a light touch, but it was enough. Huo Wu froze, unable to move. Vermilion bird tail. Yao Zi seized the moment. A thorn shaped like a vermilion bird shot forward, binding Huo Wu and throwing her violently out of the arena. Huo Wushuang stood there, bewildered. Huo Wu, why didn't you dodge? He demanded. I can't move, she sputtered, face stunned. It felt like sorcery. Only Suran smiled faintly. All right, their three juniors have secured the victory. I didn't expect Yuntang to actually grasp acupressure these past few days. I thought I'd have to wait till after the competition to teach her how to combine Azure Vine with acupressure at the introductory level. Acupressure? Combined with Azure Vine? What is that? Ning Rongrong blinked. Xiao Wu's face flushed a little as she tugged at Ning Rongrong's sleeve. Acupressure? There's such a thing? How do you practice it? Which acupoint do you press? Does teacher do it himself? Ning Rongrong's eyes sparkled. Oh, teacher, teach me that too. Press my little acupoints. You're biased, teacher. You're showing these fun ultimate techniques to our junior sisters and not to us. I want to learn too, others chimed in. Suran shook his head, smiling faintly at their giddy excitement. Girls, calm down. Acupressure involves pressing major acupoints across the body. It can seal a person's qi flow, affecting blood, muscles, even bone movement, so it has to be used carefully. Chapter 107, The Elite Soul Master Competition halts midway. Tianshui Academy thrashes Shrek, Part 1. Finals Round 2, 16 into 8. Peach Garden Academy has a bye. Today's schedule, Plant Academy versus Star Luo Lionheart Team, Spirit Hall Academy versus Shenfeng Academy, Tianshui Academy versus Heaven Do Royal Academy Seed Team. Less than 2 days after the first round, the list of the top 16 had been finalized and the knockout round for the quarterfinal places had begun. As expected, Spirit Hall's fusion spirit skill, Bewitching, stunned the field and carried them past the strong Shenfeng Academy. Plant Academy faced the Lionheart team from the Star Luo Empire. One of the Empire's 4 great clans had set up that academy as a martial training team specializing in aggressive, high-speed assault spirit masters. Suran's students relished facing such head-on opponents. A few clever tricks were usually enough to win. Plant Academy had luck on their side and advanced to the top 8. Mu Yuntang's acupoint striking technique even drew the jealous fantasies of her senior sisters Ning Rongrong, Xiao Wu, and Meng Yiran. The idea of learning a technique that could immobilize their teacher had already sent their imaginations wild. On some dark, windy night, a light touched to their teacher's body, and he would be unable to move, forced to watch as they played tricks on him while pleading, Rongrong, Xiao Wu, Dam Dame, don't do this to your teacher. And they would grin triumphantly and announce, Teacher, surrender. You can be excited, but you can't move. Just thinking about it made them giddy. But the match everyone had come to see was still Tianshui Academy versus Heaven Do Royal Academy's seeded team. High-profile spectators filled the stands. Teachers and students from Peach Garden Academy, Ningfengji and Chen Xin from Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong, Grandmaster Yu Shaogang, Flender, Qin Ming, and others. This was the first appearance at the elite competition of the team trained by Grandmaster Yu Shaogang. What would they show? I've studied Tianshui Academy's last match, Grandmaster Yu told his team in the final moments before the bout. Pay attention to Water Bing'er and Water Yuer. I see traces of Su Ran's teaching in them. Tianshui Academy's fusion spirit skill, Ice and Snow Drifting, is powerful, but it has a fatal flaw. It drinks spirit power like a thirst. If you force them to expend energy against Shimo's Xuanwu defense, they'll collapse without a direct attack. With your current level, take this seriously and beating Tianshui Academy won't be that hard. Tang San, Dai Mubai, and the others nodded as Grandmaster Yu finished his deployment. They all eyed the Tianshui team with the hunger of competitors. If any of Tianshui were taught by Su Ran, we start by taking them out. Ma Hongjun's gaze lingered on the opposing girls. The girls from Tianshui are really pretty, he said with a flush. Ma Hongjun, control yourself, the Grandmaster warned. This is a knockout match. You can't afford to lose. Your and Little Ao's spirit power lag behind. In this duel, your job is to use your flames to exhaust their spirit energy. Fire restrains water. We need to blunt their spirit techniques. All right. Ma Hongjun scratched his head. The Shrek team, most members not yet having undergone body transformations via immortal-grade herbs, still suffered a gap against the top spirit masters in the field. They were young. In 5 years, they might be a different level, but not now. At the referee's signal, both teams walked slowly to the center of the arena. On the Heaven Do Royal side, the announcer gave their lineup. Tang San, Level 44 Control System Battle Spirit Master, Spirit Blue Silver Grass. Dai Mubai, Level 42 Attack System Battle Spirit Master, Spirit White Tiger. Yu Tianheng, Level 43 Attack System Battle Spirit Master, Spirit Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. Shimo and Shimo, Level 41 Defense System Battle Spirit Masters, Spirits, Xuanwu Turtle. Ma Hongjun, Level 37 Attack System Battle Spirit Master, Spirit Evil Fire Phoenix. Oscar, Level 36 Food System Spirit Master, Spirit Sausage. Heaven Do Royal Academy, Tang San, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun. When those names reached the Tianshui side, Water Bing'er and Water Yue both pricked up. Ning Rongrong's warning echoed in their minds. This team had a deep grudge with their teacher. Show them no mercy. In the spectator stands, only Su Ran's brows tightened. Tang San's spirit power felt off to him. On the field, Ma Hongjun heard the whispers and grew cocky. Heard of my brother's fame, huh? After the match, come by our hotel. I'll make you so comfortable you won't want to leave. His banter only made Water Yue bristle. Ugh, what an arrogant jerk, she muttered. Don't be careless, Water Bing'er said to her sister. If our senior sister and teacher warned us, this team must be something special. There are several spirit ancestors among them. They're not to be underestimated. The Tianshui Academy lineup was announced next. Water Bing'er, Spirit Ice Phoenix, Level 45 Control System Spirit Ancestor. Snow Dance, Spirit Fine Dance Snow Forging, Level 42 Support System Spirit Ancestor. Water Yue, Spirit Jade Sea Pig, Level 38 Agility Attack System Spirit Elder. Yu Hairo, Spirit Dark Tide Barracuda, Level 41 Attack System Spirit Ancestor. Gu Qingbo, Spirit Azure Flagfish, Level 38 Agility Attack System Spirit Elder. Shen Luyu, Spirit Cold Crystal Ice Alligator, Level 38 Attack System Spirit Elder. Chu Ruoshui, Spirit Lotus Sea Spear, Level 37 Attack System Spirit Elder. Tianshui's overall spirit power was lower than the combined Shrek team, but Water Bing'er had the arena's highest spirit power after absorbing the precious herbs Su Ran had provided, rising to level 45. If they're the kind of team the senior sisters resent, then they deserve a good thrashing, someone nearby said. At that, Water Bing'er's expression hardened. She shifted from restraint to aggression so quickly that Water Yue blinked. Sister, you changed so fast. Form up, fish scale formation, Water Bing'er ordered. In an instant, the 7 Tianshui members linked their spirits and took formation. This secret formation, taught to them by their teacher in Heaven Do City, was perfect for their team. Water Bing'er stood at the center, Snow Dance a few meters behind her, and the others arrayed on both sides like overlapping scales. A blue-white aura streamed from each team member into Water Bing'er, forming a resonant network with her at the core. First spirit skill, Ice Seal. Wave Subjugation Art, Ice Phoenix, Sky Frost. Water Bing'er unleashed her first spirit skill to lock and bind, while Water Yue and the others launched their coordinated ultimate. Both of these techniques could temporarily amplify the strength of their spirits. Even if they hadn't mastered them perfectly, activating them could boost their effective spirit power by over 20%. Su Ran had praised Ice Seal as a century-grade skill, instant cast, area locking, and group control all in one. Be careful, someone from Heaven Do shouted. Fourth spirit skill, Blue Silver Prison. Second spirit skill, Turtle Shield. Tang San and the others had studied Tian Shui's fighting style and reacted immediately. They cast a fourth spirit skill to protect their backline, while the two defense spirit masters, the Shimos, erected turtle shields to defend their teammates, buying time for a counter. They came prepared, Water Bing'er observed. She narrowed her eyes. Tang San and company's response confirmed they'd studied Tian Shui's tactics. Withdraw, she ordered calmly. Shift to defense. My Ice Seal is a first spirit skill. It consumes little spirit power. Forcing them to use their second and fourth spirit skills to counter it will drain their reserves faster than ours. Water Bing'er chose not to press the attack. She followed her teacher's principle. Water adapts to the terrain. Warriors win by adapting to the enemy. Tian Shui Academy has changed tactics. They're trying to delay us to wear us down, but they've overlooked one thing. None of their fighters are defense-type spirit masters, and their overall spirit power is lower than ours. If we keep pressing the attack, they'll be the ones to collapse. Tian Heng, Mu Bai, both of you charge. Fatty, use your flames for cover. I'll lock down their other members. Water Bing'er is their core. Take her out and Tian Shui won't be able to hold. Tang San laid out the plan and barked the orders. Dai Mu Bai and Yu Tianheng exchanged a look, then nodded at once. All right. White Tiger Vajra transformation. Rage of Thunder. Both Dai Mu Bai and Yudheng activated their third spirit skills, their bodies surging with raw, berserker strength. A tiger and a dragon streaked across the arena. At the same time, under Grandmaster Yu Xiaogong's tutelage, they'd been taught a weakened version of Tang San's purple demon eye. It couldn't reach the microcosmic realm, but it did sharpen battlefield perception and helped offset Dai Mu Bai's disadvantage of having only one eye. Ice Seal. Water Bing'er's control had improved. From a dozen meters away, she struck with her first spirit ability, sealing Dai Mu Bai and Yu Tianheng in ice. Phoenix Firewire. Binding. Ma Hongjin melted the frost with his flame techniques, while Tang San fired out blue-silver binding to restrain Tian Shui's other members. Third spirit ability, Repulsion Halo. Water Bing'er's ice blue light burst in a ring, isolating Tang San's blue-silver grass and Ma Hongjin's flames from her teammates. Dai Mu Bai and Yu Tianheng had already broken free of the ice seal by then. The few seconds Tang San had bought were enough. They lunged forward toward Tian Shui's formation, eyes fixed on one person, Water Bing'er, the academy captain. Second spirit ability, Thunderous Fury. Second spirit ability, White Tiger Light Wave. Dai Mu Bai unleashed a close-range light wave to maim Water Bing'er, while Yu Tianheng's thunder power formed a volley of crackling thunder arrows. Second spirit ability, Ice Ring Armor. Sister, hide behind me. Flowing Water Fist. Crystalline ice armor sprouted around Water Bing'er and Water Yuer. Water Yuer planted her foot on the surface of the arena's water, stepping in front of Bing'er. Water Bing'er's face tightened. Yuer, you haven't even reached Spirit King level. You can't withstand both of their attacks. How will we know if we don't try? We have a teacher who creates miracles. Water Yuer blinked, remembering Teacher Suran's lessons as she moved. Streams of white-blue water flowed from her fists. Tang San felt something shift in the air. Suran's teaching about the formless, adaptive nature of water flashed through his mind. It refracts light, conducts electricity, nourishes the earth. Flowing water embraces all. Flowing water fist, flowing water silk binding, surging waves. The flowing water from Water Yuer's hands wove into threads, then braided and swelled into a living column of water. Tang San's face darkened. No way. Flowing water can't stop Mu Bai and Tianheng's light wave. Wait, she isn't trying to stop it. Shimo, watch out! Tang San's warning was already late. In that instant of crisis, Water Yuer, suddenly understanding the true essence of flowing water fist, used the water threads to refract and disperse Dai Mu Bai's White Tiger light wave, redirecting it toward the Shimo brothers at an awkward angle. The water soaked their feet and conducted Yu Tianheng's thunder into their bodies, paralyzing them momentarily. They were smashed by the redirected light wave and sent spinning. Tian Shui's other four leapt to the breach. A lotus sea spear arced through the air. Together with Shen Luyu and Yu Hairo, they smashed through Heaven Do Royal's defenses. From the stands, Yu Xiaogong stared, disbelief replacing his earlier confidence. Water Yuer, how could she do that? He muttered, gripping the railing. In the preliminaries, she was ordinary. She relied on Bing'er and snow dance. How could she be the one to break the deadlock? His eyes locked on Su Ran in the Peach Garden spectator area, and his face hardened. Little San, we can't hold back any longer. Tianheng, Mubai, Hongjun, use the move. That's right, dragging this out will only hurt us. The Shimo brothers had been rendered almost useless. Oscar had tossed them sausages and cured meats to replenish spirit power and mend wounds, but the healing was insufficient for combat. Tang-san turned to Dai Mubai and the others. Retreat was impossible. Water Bing'er already had them locked down with an ice seal. Okay, Fatty, come close, hug us from behind. Dai Mubai and Yu Tianheng positioned themselves chest to chest, an odd intimacy as their chests pressed together and their faces reddened. Ma Hongjun, flames rippling over him, wrapped his broad arms around them. The evil fire on his body thawed the frost. Trinity Fusion's skill. One-eyed fire thunder dragon tiger. As the three embraced bare-chested, their spirit power merged into a colossal beast, part white tiger, part lightning dragon, part phoenix of evil fire. It rolled out with staggering force, the power equivalent to a spirit king. In the stands, Yu Xiaogang's tension eased fractionally. This fusion was the product of his insistence that the 7 students trust and bond, even sleeping shirtless together to build the intimacy necessary. They'd only managed a partial spirit unity, not a pure fusion, but its strength was real. If the Shimo brothers and Oscar had been able to join, a 6 or 7 person fusion might have been on the order of an elementary spirit emperor. The fire thunder dragon tiger roared and charged straight at Water Bing'er's team. Spirit fusion? No, it's the spirit unity skill master mentioned in his letter. Not a true fusion, but still strong. We can do it too. Water Bing'er's eyes narrowed. The ice phoenix spirit beside her gave a long cry. Snow dance, Yuer. Whether we fulfill our senior's charge depends on this fusion. Water Yuer and Snow Dance rose, their faces set. Snowflakes and something like the azure sea dolphin, an accompanying spirit resonance, chimed with the ice phoenix. As they fused, cold blue rain and pure white snow blew across the arena. Water Bing'er's ice phoenix swelled, turning dazzling ice blue and growing more than 10 meters tall. It worked. Ice and snow rain drifting, aura of frost. Water Bing'er's slender fingers traced the air as the ice phoenix exhaled a terrifying breath of phoenix frost. Wherever it passed, the air itself began to solidify. With Water Yuer joining the fusion, even a casual strike from the ice phoenix surged beyond normal limits. The attack's force climbed past Spirit Emperor level and slammed into the Fire Thunder Dragon Tiger. The beast was frozen solid and then shattered under the impact. No, this is bad. Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, and Yu Tianheng were thrown under the overwhelming aura of frost. In an instant, they were rolled and skidded across the arena for a dozen tumbles. When they finally stilled, their faces rhymed with frost, their limbs stiff and motionless. They lay rigid, utterly incapacitated. A 3-person spirit fusion? Yu Xiaogong felt his world tilt. Not a 2-person. They were hiding trump cards. 5 of Heaven Do Royal's main fighters had been put out of action. After all their preparation, they were on the verge of losing their first match, and this was a knockout. There was no room for mistakes. Little San, we can't lose. Chapter 109. What? My clear sky hammer is countered? Grandmaster cracks Mubai, Fatty, Tianheng. Are we going to lose our very first match? This is Su Ran's teaching. Flowing Water Fist, Heaven Frost Ice Phoenix. How long have they been practicing? Can I really fight a team taught by Su Ran? Do I still have a chance to win? Tang-san looked behind him at his 5 teammates, already lying battered on the ground, a cold weight settling over him. As someone closely tied to Taoyuan Academy, and with Yu Xiaogong beside him, he could both see the unmistakable imprint of Su Ran on Water Bing'er and Shui Bing'er from Tianshui Academy. They had only ever felt this kind of pressure coming from Su Ran. Little San, what should we do? Oscar's voice trembled behind him. He hadn't expected Tianshui Academy's martial soul fusion skill to be so terrifying. The mysterious Heaven Treasure Record's words hung in Tang-san's mind. When Mount Tai crumbles before you, your expression remains unchanged. When the Yellow River bursts its banks above you, your face shows no alarm. A true hidden weapons master always maintains a calm mind. Tang-san breathed in deeply. Little Ao, give me a big sausage and a small sausage, then get off the field immediately. And little San, Oscar hesitated. I only get one chance. If I'm not strong enough, there's no point you staying on. Tang San's tone left no room for argument. Oscar understood and could only nod. He quickly produced 2 sausages to restore Tang San, then hauled 2 teammates off the field. These were prepared for Taoyuan Academy. I didn't expect to be forced to this extent by your Qian Renxue Academy in our very first match. External spirit bone, 8 spider lances. Spirit bone, right leg bone. Tang San's aura shifted. 8 purple-black spider lances erupted from his back, and his right leg glowed with a faint blue-gold light. Ice and snow drifted toward him, most of it intercepted by the spider lances sprouting from his back. Even if the ice scratched him, the wounds healed rapidly. Wildfire may be extinguished, but it rises again with the spring breeze. Spirit bone. And it's an external spirit bone. Is his spirit bone's effect healing? No, he has more than one. His right leg has a stronger spirit bone. He's hiding the power, but it's surely a spirit bone over 10,000 years old. Even Bibi Dong, watching from the Supreme Pontiff Palace, shifted in surprise and concern. She sensed that Tang San's right leg spirit bone was very unusual. Wait, he also has a second spirit. Clear Sky Hammer? That's the Clear Sky Hammer. On the arena, Tang San no longer held blue-silver grass in his palm. Instead, he brandished a pitch-black hammer. The spirit rings on it flashed purple, black, black. That explained why Tang San's spirit power had shot up. He had prematurely acquired the spirit ring for his second spirit, the Clear Sky Hammer, by absorbing a 100,000-year-old maternal leg bone. His spirit power had soared to level 44, the highest among Shrek Academy's students. The revelation of twin spirits sent a shock through the entire arena. Teachers and students from every academy gaped, including Ning Fengji and Chen Xin from the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong took 2 steps forward, eyes blazing with surprise, anger, and disbelief. She glanced at Yu Xiaogong, tense at her side, and transmitted to him, voice sharp. Yu Xiaogong, when you came to my Supreme Pontiff Palace before asking about the twin spirit cultivation method, it was to flawlessly attach the spirit ring for your disciple's second spirit. And he's also a descendant of the Clear Sky Sect. Bibi Dong I'll explain later, but right now in this match, Little San cannot lose. I must win. Only win. Do you understand? Hearing Bibi Dong's fierce transmission, Yu Xiaogong's eyes didn't leave the arena. This Tang San actually has a second spirit, murmured the crowd. He hid it so well. Huo Wu, did you know about this? No. Huo Wu, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, and Du Guyan all turned to her. She shook her head, just as surprised. Teacher, do you think our junior sisters can beat Tang San? Ning Rong asked. If it's only a 2 or 3 person martial soul fusion skill, it's hard to say. Tang San is at his peak. Even if one of you went up to duel him, you might not necessarily win. You've all improved a lot this year, so has he. However, Su Ran's voice betrayed concentration. Tang San had not gone through body tempering at the ice and fire yin-yang. Well, nor absorbed immortal-grade herbs, so he shouldn't have reached level 44 spirit power unless he'd absorbed something else, like a 100,000-year-old spirit bone. That would greatly boost his solo combat strength. What surprised Su Ran more, though, was Qian Renxue Academy's performance. He had indeed given Shui Bing'er detailed guidance in a letter on improving martial soul fusion skills, hoping to give them better odds, not expecting them to master it so fully. In a short time, they had completed a 3-person fusion of falling ice and snow and integrated cultivation method power into its use, proof of Shui Bing'er's exceptional comprehension. But martial soul fusion skills consume massive spirit power. The last move had used more than half the spirit reserves of Shui Bing'er, Shui Bing'er, and Snow Dance. Teacher, however, what? Someone pressed. A flicker of joy entered Su Ran's eyes. However, these girls aren't just performing a 3-person martial soul fusion skill. It's a 3-person fusion supported by a 7-in-1 array. Little Bing'er really is a pleasant surprise, as expected from a student with top comprehension. In under 10 days, she's surpassed your martial soul fusion level of over a year. Ah, teacher, why do you have to praise someone by putting others down? Ning Rongrong, Huo Wu, and the others pouted, half annoyed, half impressed. Water Bing'er was so outstanding she was stealing their thunder. Back in the arena, Water Bing'er's ice phoenix folded its ice blue tail and connected with the spirits of her teammates. Chu Ruoshui, Shen Luyu, Yu Hairo, and Gu Qingbo's 4 spirits circled the ice phoenix, strands of spirit power streaming into Water Bing'er. Originally, she could perform a martial soul fusion with Snow Dance and Shui Yuer. With Su Ran's guidance, the 3 of them naturally unleashed a fusion. The other 4 spirits were slightly weaker at fusion, but their attributes fit well, forming a situation where 3 executed a martial soul fusion, while 4 resonated and channeled all their spirit power into Water Bing'er. The spirit power of the 4 flowed into Water Bing'er. Her ice phoenix, already at level 60 intensity from fusion, surged, pushing past level 70. With a phoenix cry, the beast spirit true body manifested. Water Bing'er hovered mid-air like an ice phoenix goddess, looking down over the arena. Tang, wielding the clear sky hammer, shattered the ice blade before him and charged straight at Water Bing'er. The 100,000-year leg bone granted him 2 main effects: powerful self-healing and dramatic increases in flight and speed. Now it was a contest between his clear sky hammer and Water Bing'er's martial soul fusion. Water Bing'er's face tightened at the sudden ferocity from Tang. His power and speed were beyond anything they'd expected. That leg bone's boost to leg explosiveness made him terrifyingly fast. She launched her technique. Falling ice and snow rain, water, cold sky, ice fall. Her figure moved, and the moisture in the air condensed instantly. The space ahead filled with ice and snow as dozens of giant ice cones pressed toward Tang. But the black spirit ring on the clear sky hammer flashed. Break of steadiness. A terrifying force condensed on the hammer, blasting open a corridor through the frozen air. Water Bing'er didn't relent. Ice Phoenix Heaven Frost, Frost Cold Long River. The Ice Phoenix's wings curved, forming a long river of chilling ice water. The trickling flow hit Tang's clear sky hammer. The ice river's greatest weapon wasn't raw power, but its softening effect. It could blunt the hammer's force, let freezing water bypass the hammer to invade Tang's body, erode his spirit power, and slow him. Ice for offense, water for support, each complemented the other. This was their teacher's fusion technique and the mantra he'd given. Great momentum is slow, sharp edges are brittle. Clear sky hammer, storm whirlwind, disorderly cloak, Tang roared. The clear sky hammer was the world's preeminent tool spirit, overwhelming and domineering. But heavy weapons had a weakness in water. Softness could overcome hardness. In water, each swing required far more force and delivered less effective impact. Tang spun the hammer into a whirlwind, attempting to carve through the ice river and redirect the flow back toward Tianshui Academy's team. That gave Water Bing'er her opening. She struck with a combination that sent Tang hurtling backward. Ice river, freeze, breath of heaven frost. With a graceful motion, the ice water along the ice river solidified into a layer of hard ice, freezing Tang in midair. As he struggled and cracks formed on the ice, she plunged the last of her spirit power together and sprayed condensed frost from the ice phoenix's mouth straight at the immobilized Tang. The ice river shattered. Without spirit traction, the ice water cascaded down and flooded the arena. The breath of heaven frost slammed into Tang, blasting him hundreds of meters and smashing him into a pillar of the Supreme Pontiff Palace with a thunderous impact. The whole hall seemed to shudder. The pillar cracked. A mouthful of thick blood spurted from Tang. His ribs were broken in who knew how many places. When he hit the ground, he'd already lost normal mobility. His eyes were wide with horror and helplessness. The blue-silver emperor right leg bone poured out powerful healing energy to tend his injuries, but he'd been blasted out of the arena, and that meant he'd lost the match. Tang voice trembled. My clear sky hammer was countered. I lost again. No, Yu Xiaogang, you ruined me. What powerful control of ice and water elementals. What a formidable martial soul fusion technique. Is this the true strength of Tianshui Academy? Even the Spirit Hall team's enhanced martial soul fusion, Enchantress, probably couldn't match Tianshui Academy's ice and snow drifting. As the remaining ice water slowly drained away, the arena cleared and the crowd could finally see the scene. Teachers and students from every school stared in stunned awe at the Tianshui Academy team. Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun and Yu Tianheng of the Heaven Do Royal Academy lay motionless on the ground, faces ashen. The Spirit Hall's healing spirit master had inspected them. They weren't dead, but only barely alive, close to it, and their recovery would require careful observation. Their spirit had been shattered. Spirit damage was inevitable. There was no doubt about the result. Tianshui Academy had won. Heaven Do Royal Academy had lost. This duel would become legend in the Elite Soul Master competition. The battle had reached a peak intensity the contest had never seen. After 3 seconds of stunned silence, the arena exploded into noise. Yay, our junior sisters won. They looked so ordinary when practicing punches a few days ago. Who knew they'd be so strong? Even if we'd faced Tianshui Academy's enhanced fusion, we'd have a hard time. Tianshui's 3-person fusion, 7-in-1, amazed everyone. Even students from Peach Garden Academy watched with widening eyes. Suran allowed herself a faint smile of pride. If this team were carefully cultivated, they'd go far. Their potential had barely been scratched. Ning Rongrong and the other senior sisters, though a little jealous at the attention Water Bing'er was getting from their teacher, still released their spirit to heal and restore the Tianshui team's energies. Tianshui's victory had come at a heavy cost. Their spirit power consumption had been enormous, especially Water Bing'er, who had been the core and landed extremely weak. "Thank you, senior sister," Water Bing'er murmured. "No need to thank us. We're family," Ning Rongrong replied. "You did brilliantly. I really can't stand Yu Xiaogo bouncing around. Never thought his lot would fall apart so easily. We were all set to take them down ourselves, but you made it look effortless." "If we meet in the finals, we seniors won't hold back," another sister warned, smiling. In the Heaven Do Royal Academy spectator area, everyone else was celebrating or arguing. Everyone except Yu Xiaogo. He stood like a ghost, pupils unfocused, arms hanging useless at his sides. His carefully honed team, the group he had pinned his hopes on to change his fate, had just been crushed in the very first match. The 7-in-1 fusion he'd wanted to teach his students had failed with them, and here Tianshui Academy had pulled it off. Was there no credit for him in this? He couldn't bring himself to accept it. Could he, Yu Xiaogo, truly be inferior? It felt like everything was over. "Little San, I had such high hopes for you, and you left me nothing," he whispered, eyes reddening. A cold voice cut across the noise. "Yu Xiaogo, the match is over. Why aren't you fulfilling your promise? Do you want teacher to intervene personally?" Hearing Ning Rongrong's icy shout, Yu Xiaogo broke into a cold sweat. He remembered suddenly the wager he had made, an unbreakable bet. He lurched backward. No, we didn't lose. Little San couldn't have lost to Tianshui. This must be a trick. None of this is real. "Flender, Qinming, Zhao Wuji, tell me this is fake. Tell me," he demanded, grabbing Flender's collar in a panic. Flender's expression was complicated. His voice choked. "Xiaogo, go beg Dinsu. Dinsu isn't vindictive. Lost in the first match. This is supposed to be the Grandmaster who was invincible in theory?" Zhao Wuji muttered. Doubt grew in his heart. This Grandmaster. It was one thing that his spirit power hadn't increased, but he'd boasted of being unbeatable in theory. If his theoretical teaching couldn't even win a match, he didn't stack up to Dinsu at all. "Beg him? Begging will work?" someone scoffed. "No, Little San's out, but we still have another team, Spirit Hall. I'm an honorary elder of Spirit Hall. I carry the Supreme Pontiff's seal. The Spirit Hall Academy team are my students too. Only if you can beat them will you truly be victorious," Yu Xiaogo declared suddenly, as if clinging to a last lifeline. "Nonsense! Yu Xiaogo, how shameless!" Ning Rongrong spat. "What did you teach the Spirit Hall kids for them to be considered your disciples?" Flender and Zhao Wuji were stunned. Xie Yue and Hu Lina of the Spirit Hall exchanged glances. Neither of them had ever been students of this Grandmaster. The bluster rang hollow. "This is not right. Your words are provocation. Your broken promises are dishonorable. Forcing someone to endure humiliation for an apprenticeship. That's despicable. Such immorality and treachery make a poor teacher," Wang Sheng added, his tone dripping with contempt. Yu Xiaogo bristled at the accusations and put on the airs of a teacher, hissing, "If the way of the teacher does not exist, how can the honor of teacher and Tao be spoken of?" From her seat beneath the mask, Suran's peach blossom eyes narrowed. She turned to Yu Xiaogo slowly. "If you are willing to admit defeat today, I will grant you respect in two things, she said quietly. But you're stubborn and unrepentant. You can't be let off that easily. I have a question. Outside Peach Garden in Heavendew City, I dismissed Liu Erlong and gave you a warning. Yet she came back, humiliated, to apprentice a second time. Did you force her to do that? Yu Xiaogo's heart lurched, and he snapped. I absolutely did not force her. Lingling, Suran called softly. Yes, teacher. Ye Lingling answered, understanding her master's instruction. Her pupils seemed to form a black lotus vortex. Ye Lingling's eyes drew in attention like a whirlpool, and Yu Xiaogo felt something cold and invisible seize him. Soul-seizing art, truth. Chapter 111. Grandmaster becomes a eunuch. Liu Erlong's heart turns to ash. I admit it. When I suggested Erlong become a disciple of Taoyuan, I had the ulterior motive of letting her spy on Taoyuan Academy's inner workings. Erlong and I both have mutated spirits. If she could learn how to cultivate mutated spirits there, it would benefit both of us. A win-win. Even though they're all powerful spirit masters, I know Erlong, Bibi Dong. They're soft in the same place. If I show a little weakness, whisper a few sweet words, they'll soften and be used by me. If necessary, in the finals, I could even have her abduct a few Taoyuan students. If that had worked, Taoyuan would surely lose. But she surprised me. She questioned me, hid information about the academy, despite swearing she could discard all prejudices and give everything for me. She doesn't trust me. Hypocrite. She's just a hypocrite. Yi Lingling's captivating soul art, truth forced Yu Xiaogong's most honest thoughts into words. As he spoke, the students around him, Ning Rongrong, Huo Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, Du Guyan, Meng Yuran, Ye Lingling, Shui Bing'er, and the others, watched in stunned outrage. Taking advantage of someone's love and using them as a tool, who could not condemn that? The hardest hit was Liu Erlong. Just before the match, he had treated her coolly. Then, still reeling from the Golden Hoop's after effects and nursing a migraine that made her look pale and unreal, she had forced herself back to Taoyuan's side. Now she heard his words and froze as if someone had taken the breath from her chest. Xiaogang, is this what you really thought of me? I didn't speak because every time I spoke, the golden hoop would tighten on my head. It hurt so much. Her pain was deeper than any physical ache. They had met as girls and suffered through so much together. She had waited for him for over 10 years during the prime of her life, only to discover this. Dean Su's suspicions, the valley ambush, the pre-match interrogations, all fell into place. Then hearing his cold confession was a blade to the heart, worse even than the golden hoop's pain. She could not believe her own ears. What did I just hear? You used a charm spirit technique to manipulate me. Someone shouted, Yi Lingling, aren't you a healing spirit master? Another cried. Erlong, listen to my explanation. Yu Xiaogong flailed for words, but Liu Erlong's face had already gone hollow, her eyes empty. Before he could finish, he felt Suran's gaze like an unseen weight. Suran's peach-colored eyes, usually gentle as scattered starlight, were now dead and cold, like extinguished stars. The chill ran through Yu Xiaogong. Grandmaster, Suran said quietly, I have been tolerant enough. Your combined team with Shrek and Heavendew Royal Academy has been eliminated. You lost. According to the bet, you should know what you are about to forfeit. Suran, what are you trying to do? I hold the Spirit Hall Supreme Pontiff's token. I'm an honorary elder of Spirit Hall, a direct descendant of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. How dare you? No, Suran, you can't take away my love. A peach-scented wind swept through the arena. Petals burst from the air and veiled the eyes of students from both Taoyuan and Tianshui academies. A single scream cut the air, then blood spattered across the arena floor. Before Yu Xiaogong could even lift the Supreme Pontiff's token in protest, something unimaginably violent struck. His legs were cleaved cleanly in half by an invisible force. He choked up blood as he fell, its spray splashing into the cold water of the arena. His lower body was gone. His tongue had been cut. Legs severed, tongue cut. System arbitration complete. Host is the winner of the bet, receiving the following rewards. Gain distributable spirit ring cultivation years. Approximately 7,000 are 7 plus 26,000 equals 75,000. Gained 1 5,000-year external spirit bone extraction reward. Gained 100,000-year 6-part spirit bone extraction reward. Hosts disciples Water Bing'er, Shui Bing'er, Yao Zi, Mu Yunju, and Mu Yuntang led their teams to advance to the top 8, triggering the teaching and nurturing achievement, flourishing peaches and plums, rewarding a 1,000-year increase to all spirit ring cultivation years, plus 500 to unique skill proficiency, plus 200 to teacher's crown experience accumulation. The system's rewards spread through the air like lightning. Suran's gains were staggering. Over 70,000 years worth of spirit ring cultivation added and a 100,000-year spirit bone, among other boons. If he poured those added years into his strongest rings, the Peach Immortal skills, Setting Sun and Setting Moon, their power, already greater than a typical titled Douluo's 9th spirit ability, would increase by at least another 30%. The arena fell dead silent. Flender, Zhao Wuji, and Qin Ming stood open-mouthed, staring at Yu Xiaogang, bloody, half-dismembered, while Din Su's fury kindled. Nobody had seen him strike, yet the Grandmaster lay crippled. Fear flared high in Flender and Zhao Wuji, particularly in Zhao Wuji's face as he looked at Suran. This was the Dean of Taoyuan Academy. To truly earn his wrath was to invite a miserable fate. Suran's anger showed itself not at the manipulation of Liu Erlong, that he took to be a problem of one willing and one willing to be used, but at the thought that Yu Xiaogang might have plotted to abduct Taoyuan students. That had crossed a line. "Physicians! Call for physicians!" someone shouted. "He's lost too much blood. He's slipping into a coma. The thighs are gone. His entire lower body is severed, and his mouth is full of blood. Without an eminently powerful healing spirit master, the risk of death is extremely high. Request emergency treatment now." Only then did the spirit hall physicians and the healing spirit masters begin to rush back. They had just carted Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun off, and now hurried to check for any other wounded. Yu Xiaogang twitched in the pool of blood and lay still, face contorted in pain. From the high platform of the Supreme Pontiff Palace, a tall, beautiful woman stepped forward, the Supreme Pontiff herself, Bibi Dong. She gazed at the mangled Grandmaster with a flash of grief, but she could not run down to him. Protocol and the eyes of the world held her back, and she turned that sorrow into a fierce look directed at Suran. The pressure she radiated was immense. The students standing nearby trembled and wavered in their footing under it. This was the true aura of a top-titled Douluo, nothing like Dugu Bo or the fused might of the dragon-snake couple. A peach branch split the air as Suran planted himself in front of his students, shielding them. His spirit power kicked up wind that ruffled his sleeves and hair, and he spoke with steady force. "Bibi Dong, set aside that I had a bet with him and that he must accept the consequences of losing. Do you have any proof that this was my doing? I did not attack him. I didn't touch him." Bibi Dong's words choked off. It was true that Suran had not used any overt attack. Instead, he had covered the student's eyes with the peach-scented veil. That at least suggested he had foreseen what was coming, perhaps sensed a more subtle, invisible attack. But there was no direct evidence implicating him. The bet and the punishment were system-initiated. The system had arbitrated the action. How could that be held against Suran? Chapter 112. The High Priest steps forward, inviting Suran to the Elder Palace. In front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace, Suran stood alone against the might of the Supreme Pontiff. The divine show peach branch in his hand gleamed like a fragment torn from the heavens, a gentle radiance emanating from its bark. Its veins seemed to hold an inviolable power. The moment that peach branch appeared, Yuoguan, who was somewhere inside the Supreme Pontiff Palace, receiving treatment from healing spirit masters alongside Guaimei, shuddered. He clutched a Qirong Tongtian chrysanthemum, all yellow but withered at the edges, and involuntarily muttered, "Old ghost, did you feel that? He's here. He really came to the Supreme Pontiff Palace. That's an immortal-grade divine show branch. My chrysanthemum can't stand against it. I surrender. I don't want to fight him anymore, not even if the Supreme Pontiff punishes me." Yuoguan's face went pale. Suran's single move back in the valley had battered both him and Guimei so badly their spirits hadn't recovered. They were still trembling. "Noble Pontiff, I can assure you, Dean Su and Grandmaster Yu did place a bet. This is the fulfillment of that bet, not a malicious act." Ning Fengji stepped down from the VIP seats with Chen Xin at his side and walked onto the arena. He cupped his hands respectfully toward Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong's purple eyes narrowed. She inhaled slowly. Schoolmaster Ning, will the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School stand against me? The Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School is only a supporting sect. We wouldn't presume to oppose Your Holiness the Supreme Pontiff, Ning replied. But I, Ning, believe in justice. I cannot stand by and watch Dean Su be treated unjustly. Ning's expression tightened. Facing the weight of the Spirit Hall, the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School usually would never act rashly. Yet since their meeting at Taoyuan Academy, seeing Su Ran's brilliance, his composure, and staggering talent, Ning had resolved to stake his school's future on Taoyuan Academy. Chen Xin's presence beside him carried a cold, resolute aura. He stared at Bibi Dong with barely concealed intensity. Chen Xin had few attachments, but he viewed the school as home, and he would risk his life defending those he considered worthy. Good. I've long wanted to see Chen Xin of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School in action, Bibi Dong said, striking her Supreme Pontiff scepter on the ground. Spirit power surged outward. A dark green spiderweb pattern crept across her forehead, and a crystalline dark green light spread from her like a mantle. She was on the verge of unleashing her spirit power. Chen Xin and Su Ran braced themselves. For Yu Xiaogang, Bibi Dong was even prepared to reveal part of her spirit's power publicly. But at that moment, outside the Supreme Pontiff Palace, a wave of golden light rolled out, accompanied by an aged yet commanding voice. Supreme Pontiff, stop, it said. This young man Su Ran is a guest of the Elder Palace. Since this is a private bet between Su Ran and Yu Xiaogang, why should the Supreme Pontiff Palace intervene? An old man in golden robes, embroidered with silver hair and beard, completely white, appeared. He carried himself with arrogance. Even facing Bibi Dong, his tone had the authority of someone high in rank. He glanced at Su Ran with an unreadable look. Chen Xin and Ning exchanged puzzled looks and then studied Su Ran. This man looked to be an extremely senior Spirit Hall figure. Rumor said he was a peak Douluo beyond the 97th rank, rarely seen in public. Why would he step forward for Dean Su? Did Su Ran have powerful connections within Spirit Hall? Bibi Dong's presence dimmed when the old man arrived. She snorted coldly. The golden-robed elder replied casually, "The Elder Palace has its own rules. You'll understand in time." Bibi Dong suppressed a surge of anger behind her composed face. If Su Ran and Chen Xin fought her, they were already formidable. Yu Guan and Guai Mei were still healing and couldn't be counted on. If the Elder Palace backed Su Ran, the Supreme Pontiff Palace could lose. Bibi Dong stared at Su Ran, incredulous. Who was he that Yu Xiaogang valued him so highly and that even the elders, who usually never intervened in external disputes, would speak up on his behalf? Su Ran carried an extraordinary bearing, and his spirit seemed to contain a faint divine aura. Could he be a successor the high priests had chosen? The golden-robed elder was known as Gold Crocodile, the second high priest of Spirit Hall. He glanced at the recovering Yu Xiaogang with thin disdain. A spirit master under rank 30 is an important member of the Supreme Pontiff Palace, he said. That palace you run is quite impressive. I am Su Ran? The elder asked when his eyes fixed on him. I am titled Gold Crocodile, second high priest of Spirit Hall. Come with me. I will take you to meet someone. He turned his gaze to Su Ran and added, almost offhandedly, Don't worry, I will not harm your teacher. Ning Fengji and Chen Xin tensed. The students from Taoyuan Academy clutched at their teacher's sleeves, fear and worry written all over their faces. They did not trust Spirit Hall. Having a high priest appear only made them more anxious. Gold Crocodile, for his part, was slightly surprised by their intensity. Facing Bibi Dong and himself, these students showed not terror, but a fierce loyalty, as if ready to die for their teacher. He could only promise Su Ran he would not harm him, which calmed the students a little. Gold Crocodile's words sent a ripple through Bibi Dong and Chen Xin. Meet someone? For a second high priest to personally fetch Su Ran meant the someone waiting must be among the very top of Spirit Hall. Could it be? The high priest of Spirit Hall himself wants to see Su Ran? Girls, I'll go with High Priest Gold Crocodile. It'll be fine, Su Ran said after a moment's thought. Sword Douluo Chenshin, Schoolmaster Ning, please look after the girls, he added. Ning Fengji nodded. Dean Su, rest assured, if the Supreme Pontiff Palace truly moves against you, Bibi Dong won't have an easy time. Ning's confidence wasn't merely in himself, it was in Su Ran. He had brought 100 Spirit Master team to Spirit City, equipped with Hell Revolver and other Hell Netherworld artifacts. The destructive power of that team was something the whole city knew to fear. Chapter 113. Qian Renxue seeks a teacher for guidance. The Elder Palace sat between the Supreme Pontiff Palace and the Douluo Palace. It was the real center of Spirit Hall's power, the embodiment of the High Priest Palace's will. It decided the hall's major affairs, and if the elders voted unanimously, they could even remove the Supreme Pontiff. The Angel Garden of the Elder Palace, unlike the arena at the Supreme Pontiff Palace, was full of birdsong and fragrant blooms, a scene of quiet beauty. Fragrant angel flowers lined the path, and angel statues stood among the bushes. The place hardly seemed one the High Priest of Spirit Hall, famed as invincible in the sky, would choose. Su Ran couldn't help but ask Gold Crocodile Douluo as they walked, "Second High Priest, who exactly wants to see me?" Gold Crocodile strode ahead and replied with his usual nonchalance, "A very noble girl. I haven't seen her in a long time. When she returned, the only thing she asked for was to see you. I really don't know what makes you so special, young man." Girl? Even without a name, most people might not have known who he meant, but Su Ran did. There was only one person Gold Crocodile would call a noble girl, and who had any connection to him. At the heart of the garden, a great white orchid tree grew, scattering pale petals. Beneath it stood a woman in her 20s, skin like snow, a straight nose, slightly narrow golden phoenix eyes, a small angel mark between her brows, and a face of breathtaking beauty with an air of majesty. At the sight of Gold Crocodile and Su Ran, she showed the faintest ripple of acknowledgement. "Thank you for personally bringing him, Grandpa Crocodile," she said. "It's my duty to serve the Holy Maiden," Gold Crocodile answered. In front of this golden-robed woman, his usual arrogance melted into respect. "Grandpa Crocodile, you may attend to your affairs. I wish to speak with Su Teacher alone." Gold Crocodile glanced at Su Ran, nodded, and left the garden. "I'll guard outside. Holy Maiden, call for me if you need anything." Qian Renxue stepped forward and extended a jade hand. Her fingers were cool and soft. Su Ran gave a light squeeze and quickly withdrew. She smiled slightly. "Allow me to introduce myself. I am Qian Renxue, Holy Maiden of the Elder Palace. Dean Su may call me Renxue, or Shuier. I'm Su Ran, a teacher at Taoyuan Academy," he replied. "I've heard of Su Teacher's deeds and admire your character and skill," she said. "That is why I asked Grandpa Crocodile to bring you here, to speak with you." She led him to a stone table beneath the white orchid tree and personally poured 2 cups of tea. "Please sit. This is tea brewed from the St. Heart 6th grade orchid, unique to our High Priest Palace. Do try it." Su Ran tasted the tea. It carried a fragrant entrance and a lingering sweetness. From his knowledge of herbs, he recognized its rarity and the way it purified the body and nourished the spirit. He also understood why she had not revealed her full identity. Qian Renxue, who had once disguised herself as Crown Prince Shui Qinghe in Heaven Do City, likely wanted to extend a friendly hand without cold-blooded ceremony. "Thank you," he said. "If Gold Crocodile hadn't interfered, I might have had a tough time." "Please don't take it to heart. That woman has always acted wildly and used extreme methods. Don't hold the hall's name against it because of her," Qian Renxue said with a faint, composed smile. "The reason I invited you here is to discuss something important. I wonder if you'll hear me out." "Go ahead," Su Ran replied. Qian Renxue's tone grew serious. "You must know Spirit Hall has been steadily rising and is now the foremost Spirit Master power on Douluo Continent. I won't hide anything. Spirit Hall seeks to unify the 2 great empires and bring the continent under one rule. The problem is not that we lack Spirit Masters, but that they are disunited. With your teaching skill, in a few years our Spirit Masters could be transformed. Our strength would grow another level, and unification could be within reach." She produced a golden token with a sacred angel engraving. "I wish to invite Su Teacher to be the Chief Dean Elder of the Elder Palace, to command, to issue decrees before the elders, and to lead the vast numbers of Spirit Masters under Spirit Hall. The Supreme Pontiff's 6-sided order shows nobility, but few know the Angel Order is the Hall's ultimate authority. With this Angel Order, you would sit in the front row of the Elder Council, with a status comparable to a high priest. I ask Su Ran, teacher of Peach Garden, to become the hall master of the Elder Palace. Su teacher, I know you do not crave titles or power, but Spirit Hall needs you. If ever you tire or wish to leave, you may do so. There will be no personal restrictions. This is my promise. Qian Renxue had watched Taoyuan Academy's Peach Garden team in the Spirit Master Competition preliminaries and promotions. Students like Ning Rongrong and Du Guyan had outperformed what seemed possible even for spirits like the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda and the blue phosphor serpent. She did not believe their success lacked a cause. She believed Su Ran's tutelage was decisive. That belief and the token she offered were her utmost respect. Su Ran took a deep breath and stood. I appreciate your esteem, but I have no intention of joining another power. I only want to teach peacefully at Taoyuan Academy, to nurture talent and refine raw ability, away from the entanglements of war. If I may be frank, Miss Qian, suppose Spirit Hall did unify the two empires. Would that truly be the answer? Would it bring 1,000 years of achievement and peace? The continent would be stained with blood. Resentment would seethe in every corner, and the people would suffer. How would Spirit Hall govern afterward? Would it rule by obey and live, defy and die? How would that differ from any other empire, merely a new name on an old tyranny? If I helped train your Spirit Master teams, would I not be teaching the instruments of execution when the fighting begins? That cannot be the purpose for which I take disciples and impart knowledge. I cannot join your elder palace. Qian Renxue was silent beneath the orchid tree. So many powers vied for dominance, and so few asked what would come after victory. Su Ran's words struck at that lack of foresight. She stood motionless for a long time, then bowed deeply to him. Su teacher's words have opened my eyes, she said softly. Perhaps Spirit Hall has indeed missed these questions. Perhaps we have failed to think beyond victory. I am moved by your insight. If it is the continent's fortune to have such a teacher as you, then, if you will allow it, I wish to become your disciple. I want to learn from you the art of governing a land, how to preserve an empire and care for its people. Will you accept me as your disciple? Chapter 1 and 14, Su Ran's Epiphany of the Ninth Tribulation, carefree in the mortal world, breaking through to the titled Douluo realm. Qian Renxue, God-bestowed spirit, seraphim, innate level 20 spirit power, holy attribute, born with God-level potential SSS, current potential S. Su Ran's eyes flicked over Qian Renxue's potential panel again. Judged by potential alone, she was truly an exceptional disciple. What a pity. I cannot teach you what you want to learn, Su Ran said calmly. Governing a nation requires the heart of an emperor. Managing the common people requires a worldly heart. Neither is my forte. If you are willing to cultivate diligently, I can teach you a path of cultivation that may be better than the one you're on now. A path better than my current one? Qian Renxue fell silent. Chosen by God and already on the road to divinity, she had no shortage of guidance in cultivation. How could there be anything better than becoming a god? She knew Su Ran's teaching ability was exceptional, but when it came to her own cultivation, she felt no confusion. Su teacher may not know, she said at last, but Shui'er, as the holy maiden of the Elder Palace, already has a very good cultivation path. I know, Su Ran interrupted with a faint smile. There is no best path, only better. Perhaps I can still teach you something. When it came to teaching cultivation, Su Ran was confident. Even the angel god's path was not beyond refinement. After all, the angel demigod body couldn't even withstand a drop of Tang San's guanyin tear. His tone, the casual certainty in his peach blossom eyes, made Qian Renxue feel exposed, as if her secrets had been seen through. The corner of his mouth curved beneath his mask, and for a moment she lost herself. If you haven't thought it through, forget it, Su Ran added. He wouldn't force anyone to be his disciple. Without yen, there would be no binding. You truly do make one feel endlessly mysterious, Qian Renxue murmured. Her gaze met his, and she imagined a vast galaxy in those eyes. Within it a towering immortal peach tree, and beneath its blossoms the ethereal back of someone in white. She blinked and then asked softly, Su teacher, I will seriously consider what you said. I can't decide now, but I'll give you an answer in time. She hesitated, then asked something that had long been on her mind. There's one thing I've always wondered, Su teacher. No matter the weather, why do you always wear a mask? If I asked Grandpa Crocodile to help, would you remove it and let me see you? That would make this trip worthwhile. Qian Renxue had asked the same question once before at Heaven Do City when she met Su Ran as Shui Qinghe, but she hadn't pressed it then. Now, alone beneath the angel white orchid tree, with its mingling orchids and peach blossoms, she felt freer to ask. Curious about his concealed face, she spoke with a gentle, almost childlike smile. Su Ran gave a helpless smile in return. If I explained, you might laugh. It's better left unsaid. In short, it's a matter of unwillingness. If not for some helplessness in the world, why would someone willingly live hidden in disguise and darkness? How could they live freely? Qian Renxue sighed. Perhaps her words echoed her own years of concealment in the Heaven Do Royal Academy more than anything. I just don't understand why Su Teacher prefers to hide rather than reveal himself. She tried to guess at the reasons. Perhaps he had powerful enemies and couldn't afford to be recognized, but Su Ran didn't seem to care much about her spirit hall. Perhaps he had disfiguring scars, but Dean Su was not the sort to fuss over looks. Or perhaps he was so strikingly handsome, he refused to show his face, lest his reputation rest on appearance rather than talent. Her speculations were clever, if imperfect. Su Ran only watched in silence. "Why not be yourself again?" she asked finally. "Why remain so tightly concealed? Aren't you limiting yourself by sticking to these old ways? Why not take off your mask and let Shui see you?" Her smile was gentle, angelic, and a white orchid petal drifted past, landing on the hem of her sleeve. Her words, born of curiosity and a lifetime of disguise, struck something in Su Ran like a bell. Be myself again. Not living as myself, limiting myself. The thought echoed through him. "So that's it," he murmured. "This is my 9th tribulation? 8 lifetimes of meditation, study of human nature, the path of a teacher. And now this 9th challenge. Not one handed down by the system, but one rooted in his present life. A teacher who cannot even face himself. How could he teach others? Was this the titled Douluo challenge the system wanted him to overcome? A sudden surge of spirit power burst from Su Ran. He sat cross-legged beneath the white orchids. Behind him, impossibly, an enormous peach tree erupted into being, vibrant and more brilliant than the orchids in the garden. Tens of thousands of petals detached from branches and hung suspended in the air. In that pink and white vortex, each thin, cicada-wing petal reflected a different scene. Blades of grass glittering with morning dew, earthen houses washed clean by heavy rain, willow catkins cupped in a child's hand, the crow's feet at an elder's eyes, fragments of past meditations across countless lifetimes. A fine golden light kindled in Su Ran's pupils. Vein-like patterns spread from his brow to his temples. An aura rose around him, and for a fleeting instant he seemed like a peach immortal seated under his tree. The change stunned Qian Renxue. "Su Teacher? What's happening? Is he breaking through? How could he break through so suddenly?" Outside the garden, the gold crocodile Douluo hurried over. "Holy Maiden, what's going on? I felt an incredibly powerful force. Did that kid make a move?" Qian Renxue stood guard beneath the peach tree, catching a drifting blossom on her fingertip. Her face was full of disbelief and awe. She had never seen such a transcendent aura. When the elder spoke, she turned slowly and placed a finger to her lips, motioning him to be quiet. "Shh, Grandpa Crocodile. Don't disturb Teacher's epiphany. During this time, don't let anyone enter or leave." Oh, the elder stammered. "Wait, what, Teacher?" The second high priest's eyes widened. For a moment the garden was hushed, filled only with falling petals and Su Ran's steady breath. Then, like a ripple from some far-off shore, excitement spread. "Everyone, send recommendation tickets, monthly tickets, and likes to speed up Su Ran's epiphany and see him reveal his face." Chapter 115, I Am Who I Am. Born this way, why hide anymore? Which elder in the hall has broken through? This aura is unusual. The priest hall sat behind the elder palace. It wasn't lavish, but it carried an ancient, sacred air. A plainly dressed man who looked barely 40 stood at a high point in the hall, golden eyes fixed on the angel garden. A ripple of surprise crossed his face. "It's not an elder from the hall," the gold crocodile Douluo answered. "It's a young man. The Holy Maiden calls him Su Teacher." "Su Teacher!" The man's voice sharpened. That man, though appearing only about 40, was in truth the strongest figure in Spirit Hall, The high priest Qian Daoliu, a level 99 titled Douluo, servant of the angel god, Qian Renxue's grandfather and protector. He found it hard to believe, with Xue's proud temperament, she would recognize someone else as Su teacher. Gold Crocodile Douluo had already investigated Su Ran's background with the resources of the Elder Palace. The young man's origins were unclear, but his accomplishments were not. He had trained several extraordinary students, founded Taoyuan Academy, previously unknown, now famous in Soto City, and had led his team to sweep through the Spirit Master competitions. Qian Daoliu snorted. No matter how extraordinary he is, Shui is chosen by the angel god. She must keep her dignity. How could she call someone else Su teacher? Under the white orchid in the angel garden, morning light fell softly. The suspended peach blossom stilled. Amber light coursed through its veins and new jade-like leaves unfurled from its calyx, completing a cycle of bloom and wither in an instant. The sleeping buds on the peach branch burst open together, and the echo of millions of years of growth vibrated up from the roots, resonating with the young man seated beneath the tree. Inside Su Ran's mind, the host panel refreshed. Main Spirit, Divine Show Peach Branch. Spirit Power Breakthrough, from level 91 toward level 92. 100,000-year Spirit Bone Equivalent Extraction detected, Blue-Silver Emperor Equivalent. Attaching, fusing, 100,000-year Right Arm Bone, Heavenly Craftsmanship Bone. Spirit Power increased to level 94. Spirit Core Condensed. 80,000-year bonus year allocation successful. Spirit Ability year limits increased. First ability, Plucking Branches as Dreams, to 10,000 years. Second, a Dream Peach Sword Order to 15,000. Third, Chaotic Red Flying Snow to 20,000. Fourth, Scarlet Moon Peach Bloom to 30,000. Fifth, Burning Flower 1,000 Peach Slash to 70,000. Sixth, 9 Luminaries Peach Blossom Sword to 110,000. Seventh, Red Dust True Body, 100,000-year Companion Ring Domain, Heavenly White Jade Capital to 180,000. Eighth abilities, Shaking Down the Moon and Shaking Down the Sun to 180,000. Ninth abilities, Extreme Freedom and Peach Immortal's Call, Myriad Flowers Arrive to 300,000 years. The angel white orchid rustled, petals scattered as Su Ran opened his eyes. The peach branch shot forward. 9 spirit rings glowed simultaneously on his body, and every flower and plant in the garden bowed and swayed in response. Black, 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 red, 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 red with gold. The configuration stunned Qian Renxue, who had been keeping watch. 5 black rings, 3 red rings, and the 9th ring, far beyond the usual color chart, was tinged with gold. Most people would not recognize the true value of that gold-edged ring. Qian Renxue, however, had learned enough during the angel god's trials to understand. Gold suggested something greater than a pure red ring, possibly a transcendence of the 100,000-year limit. If the golden pattern flashed to its extreme, it could be a divine ring, a god-level spirit ring. Qian Renshue's face filled with awe. This was why Su Ran had said he could still teach her even on her current path. He was a miracle of the Peach Garden, a Su teacher unlike any other. I am who I am. My appearance is how it is. Why hide it anymore? Su Ran murmured to himself, steady and clear. Not to be humbled by a plain face, not to let worries of the future cloud my spirit, to live freely. This is the true self of freedom. Miss Qian, he added, thank you for your guidance. Had we not spoken today, I don't know when my own state would have broken through. Today, you have been my Su teacher. With that realization, he advanced cleanly to level 94. Peach Blossom Divine Show unfolded within him, ice and fire dragons dancing together. His bearing became unparalleled in the human world, ethereal, singular, an artistry of creation. Slowly he removed the mask he had always worn and hung it at his waist. He had comprehended extreme freedom. As the mask fell away, his renowned face was revealed to the sky, starry eyes, bright teeth, an expression that stirred the hearts of many. The 9 spirit rings' light dimmed back to a steady glow. Su Ran cupped his hands in the customary gesture toward Qian Renxue. He thought, almost guiltily for a moment, of taking Qian Renxue as his disciple. How shameful that fleeting vanity now seemed, since it had been her guidance that helped him break through. Qian Renxue, however, no longer stood composed. Sacred water flowed in the flower bed, her white hair lay still. Her eyes were fixed entirely on the young man before her, as if his unveiled face had entered through her eyes and rushed straight to her heart, filling her mind. Only when Suran spoke did she blink and come back with a tremor. She stepped forward and clasped his cupped hands with both of hers, gripping tightly. His hands were warm, and the contact felt like an electric current running through her limbs. Her voice trembled. She had seen countless gifted, handsome geniuses. She had expected to be unimpressed. Yet one look, an instant that felt like forever, and everything inside her changed. All logic and defense dissolved beneath that temperament, that presence. Su teacher, you are far too modest. How dare I call myself your Su teacher? It was but an offhand remark that led you to enlightenment. From now on, I will be your disciple. I will follow you and cultivate faithfully through wind and rain, with one heart, no regrets. Without hesitation, Qian Renxue dropped to her knees and acknowledged him as her master. The scent of white orchid and peach blossoms filled the air, mingling with the charm that seemed to emanate from him. She rested her forehead lightly against Suran's lower abdomen. Her cheeks flushed as she drew in his scent, as if it were sustenance. Seeing her kneel and promise herself to him made Suran's heart skip. He had expected resistance, not this sudden, wholehearted devotion. You said you needed time to decide, he managed. That temporary time has already passed, Qian Renxue said, lifting her head to look up at him. And Su teacher, please don't call me Miss Qian anymore. Call me Shui'er. Pride? The angel god's inheritance? Let them go. Su teacher is the greatest. My enlightenment today is largely thanks to you. It can be considered fate. If you truly want to take me as your master, you will be my 14th disciple from now on. But I must say this up front. Even if you are the holy maiden of Spirit Hall and bear the Seraphim's legacy, you must follow Peach Garden Academy's rules. Keep to the school schedule, don't kill the innocent on a whim, and don't commit evil acts. Can you agree to that? Yes. Qian Renshue's face did not hesitate. She nodded at once. Suran glanced at her, and a peach blossom token drifted to her hand. After the competition, handle your matters, then report to Peach Garden Academy. Understood, teacher. Reluctantly, Qian Renxue let go of Suran's hand, performed the kowtow of discipleship, and took the peach blossom token floating before her. Is this the token that proves one's master? As she listened to Suran's words and reflected, realization suddenly struck her. Her eyes widened in astonishment. Teacher knew her identity all along. Teacher knew she was the Seraphim's chosen successor, and that she had infiltrated the Heaven Do royal family? Good heavens. Accepted. Angel Holy Maiden Qian Renxue as a disciple. Disciple aptitude has risen. Reward, Spirit Power plus 0.2 levels. All Spirit Ring and Spirit Bone age limits 10%. Gained 3 opportunities to draw advanced light and sacred ultimate skills. Obtained 1 Seraphim exclusive ultimate skill. The system's reward panel flashed through his mind. As Suran's realm rose, the spirit power gained from simply accepting a disciple mattered less proportionally, but it was still significant. He was already at the 94th level. Of a 0.2 increase was the fruit of years of cultivation for most titled Douluo. A 10% boost to Spirit Ring and Spirit Bone age limits could add tens of thousands of years to the age cap on his later Spirit Rings. Looking at his current spirit power and Spirit Bone situation, Suran felt invigorated. At his level, there were few on the continent who could truly suppress him. Pale sunlight filtered through the white orchid tree and gilded his handsome face. Then he noticed the sun's position change and his expression shifted. Is it morning now? How long have I been in enlightenment? He asked Qian Renxue. He remembered that when he followed Gold Crocodile Priest into this garden, it hadn't been morning. It should be 2 days, she replied. She had been so taken by her teacher's supreme beauty, she'd been nearly dazed. Hearing his slightly anxious tone, she thought and answered, 2 days. If nothing unexpected happened, the quarterfinals should already be over. I wonder if Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong gave them trouble? Suran's voice turned deep. Shui'er, I've stayed here too long. I must go back immediately to check on the girls. After the competition, I'll give you proper instruction. All right, teacher really cares about his disciples. Qian Renxue remembered the Peach Garden girls who always clung to their teacher and felt an odd twinge of jealousy. Suran only smiled faintly and said no more. A golden-robed elder entered the garden then, his gaze lingering on their backs. Boy, our holy maiden isn't someone anyone can take as a master. If you want to teach our holy maiden, you'll have to pass a test from us old fellows. Also, here's something that might help. According to the Elder Palace's report, the quarterfinals finished yesterday. The semifinals have been moved to a new venue, the Great Spirit Arena in Spirit City. Gold Crocodile Priest spoke with the weight of one who'd already conferred with High Priest Qian Douluo. The Holy Maiden's master couldn't be chosen lightly. If Qian Renxue were to have a single master, it should be the angel god. The venue changed? Why a sudden change? Suran's eyes sharpened. He brushed past Gold Crocodile and sprinted from the hall. The old man watched the white-clad youth vanish and was stunned into silence. After a careful look at Qian Renxue, he blurted, wide-eyed, "Holy Maiden, who was that handsome young man?" "He's exceptionally refined, more handsome than I was in my youth. He's no ordinary person." Even a brief profile had struck Gold Crocodile. That face wasn't simple. Qian Renxue stepped forward and with a softness she rarely showed, said like a moonlit holy maiden in love, "Grandpa Crocodile, he is my teacher." "Oh, one more thing." Gold Crocodile hesitated, still finding it hard to reconcile the extraordinary youth with the teacher she'd named. Why did he wear a mask earlier? "Phew, what is it, Holy Maiden? Say it." Qian Renshue's eyes narrowed. "Mobilize a few elders for me. If that one in the Supreme Pontiff Palace dares to cause trouble..." "Hey, why hasn't teacher come back yet? Did something happen? I've been on edge these past 2 days. I can't sleep." 2 days had passed since Yu Xiaogong lost that bet. The Peach Garden girls, along with students from Shui Academy and Plant Academy, worried incessantly about Suran. The Spirit Master competition had proceeded to the semifinals. After Shui Academy's crushing victory over Tang from the top 16 to top 8 stage, Peach Garden Academy had made it into the top 4. In the top 8 to top 4 match, Shui Academy had unfortunately met their center sisters, the Peach Garden team, and narrowly lost. The semifinal bracket now included the 4 top teams and 2 teams with byes: Peach Garden Academy, Spirit Hall Academy, Plant Academy, Star Luo Royal Academy, and 2 other Star Luo Empire teams. With teacher absent, senior sister Ning Rongrong took charge. They drew lots a day early and learned the semifinal pairings. There would be no more byes. Plant Academy and Star Luo Royal Academy would each face one of the other teams, and Peach Garden Academy would face Spirit Hall Academy. The next morning, as dawn touched the Supreme Pontiff Palace, the Peach Garden team, escorted by Sword Douluo Xin and Sect Master Ning Fengji, walked into the Dohun Arena in front of the palace. Inside, only the Supreme Pontiff Palace's night order was on parade. No other academies had arrived. Ning Fengji's instincts prickled. "Uncle Sword, something's wrong." At this point in previous matches, every academy would already be here. No one else has shown up, and no one has come to inform us. Could that woman, Bibi Dong, be planning something against the kids? Chen Xin scanned the area, ready for an attack. Ning Fengji shook his head. If she intended to act, she would have done it earlier. Besides, Teacher Su now has Gold Crocodile Priest backing him. Bibi Dong shouldn't dare strike recklessly at Peach Garden students. There must be another motive. Suddenly, there were sounds of fighting outside the arena. Rongrong senior sister. Spirit Hall changed the venue and put the Peach Garden team in the first match. With a single sword stroke, Chen Xin cut through the night order and the bishops blocking the palace entrance. Teachers and students from Plant Academy and Shui Academy, Yao Zi, Mu Yunju, Mu Yunteng, Shu Yuer, Water Bing'er, Snow Dance, and Leng Yuhan pushed through. "What's going on?" Ning Rongrong asked anxiously. Early this morning, Spirit Hall's spirit masters came here and said the competition venue had been moved to the Great Spirit Arena in Spirit City, Yao Zi explained. "At first we didn't think much of it, but when we got there we found that apart from eliminated teams, none of our senior or junior brothers and sisters were there. It looks like Spirit Hall deliberately failed to notify our senior sisters, trying to force the Peach Garden team to forfeit and lose. We immediately came to find classmates from Shui Academy and searched together," Mu Yunju added. "At the hotel, the staff said you senior sisters had already left for the match, so we came here." Hearing their words, Ning Fengji's face went cold as everything snapped into place. Not good. We've walked into a trap. Can Spirit Hall really stoop to such a shameless scheme? Time is running out. Chapter 117. The true face appears, and the world is enraptured. One look topples a city. The Supreme Pontiff's poem. Semi-final elimination round. First match, Taoyuan Academy versus Spirit Hall Academy. Teams from both academies, please take your positions for the match. Taoyuan Academy team, please enter the arena promptly. Taoyuan Academy team members, you have 5 minutes to report to the arena. Failure to appear will be considered a forfeit. On Spirit City's Great Spirit Arena, order was maintained only by the Night Order of the Supreme Pontiff Palace. Only a few teams that had already qualified remained to watch. Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong stood at the highest point of the Duhun Arena's VIP section, gripping her Supreme Pontiff scepter, her expression composed as she watched the arena. Beside her sat a gaunt man in a wheelchair, his lower body gone. Whether he was sitting or standing was irrelevant. His injuries had only just been stabilized, his lips pale, his face hollow, but his eyes were fierce and his hands dug into the armrests. Seeing that the Taoyuan Academy team had yet to appear, a savage, almost morbid smile creased his face. Yu Xiaogong tried to speak, but all that came out were animal-like sounds. Ooh, woof woof. At that moment, no one hated Su Ran more than he did. He had gambled his legs and his tongue on this, and now he was left without either. Bibi Dong's gaze lingered on him, pity, sympathy, and a flicker of bewilderment in her eyes. The Supreme Pontiff Palace's healing spirit masters had barely saved his life. He would never walk or speak properly again. From his sickbed, he had written a blood letter to Bibi Dong. Its gist was plain. The Peach Garden team has dominated the competition. Tianshui Academy is second. If the Spirit Hall team faces them directly, there's no chance of a comeback. I've been crippled and cannot take revenge myself. If you ever cared for me, out of consideration for our past, do not let the Peach Garden team win the championship. I have one plan that can give the Spirit Hall team victory. Peach Garden students can only be beaten by other Peach Garden students. I know 3 teams contain Su Ran's disciples: Taoyuan Academy, Tianshui Academy, and Plant Academy. Arrange a rigged draw in the quarterfinals so Taoyuan eliminates Tianshui. Plant Academy is weak and not a concern. For the semifinals, change the venue secretly so Taoyuan staff and students aren't notified. Then they'll miss the match and be eliminated without a fight. Outsiders must be banned from watching. Only qualifying teams will attend. The other teams won't risk facing Peach Garden, so even if they suspect something, none will object. Yu Xiaogong, written personally to my former beloved Bibi Dong. Despite her anger at Yu Xiaogong's earlier deceptions, the secret twin spirits cultivation method, hiding the Clear Sky Sect disciple, and his affair with Liu Erlong, Bibi Dong's heart softened when she saw his tragic state. She agreed to implement his plan. Morning light spilled over the dome of the Great Spirit Arena. The Spirit Hall team stood waiting for their opponents, unaware of the Supreme Pontiff's maneuvering. Still, Hulina and Yu exchanged puzzled looks. Why had the Peach Garden team not shown? They wouldn't just forfeit. This was the semifinal. Victory here meant a shot at the championship and glory for every spirit master on the continent. The teachers and students from Star Luo Royal Academy and the other teams were equally baffled. Time ticked away. Competition rules allowed a team 5 minutes to prepare. Failure to appear meant elimination. 4 minutes passed. Yu Xiaogong, strapped into his wheelchair, glared fanatically, as if each second were a barb in his heart. He silently raged, "Su Ran, go ahead and win, but don't think you can take the championship. Even if I lose everything, I have the Supreme Pontiff behind me. And you." "Last 30 seconds, announced the official. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 8, 6, 3. Buzz, Bibi Dong exhaled softly. What she truly wanted was for the Spirit Hall team to win by their own merit, but reality often has different designs. Just as everyone assumed Taoyuan Academy had forfeited and the hourglass was about to run out, peach blossoms began to fall from the sky above the Great Spirit Arena. A young man in white flashed down through the blossoms and landed on the arena floor as if suspended on air. Petals swirled around him. His eyes, bright and clear like stars and framed with soft lashes, met Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong's gaze directly. "Taoyuan Academy, Su Ran, here to compete." He moved like a streak of light. Around him the air shimmered, clouds seemed to roll, and a pair of cloud-like wing-shaped ripples hovered briefly behind him. Faint rays of light played over his robes, and 9 spirit rings glimmered beneath him. A light peach fragrance filled the Duhun arena, and delicate petals condensed from the air, falling like red snow to adorn him. As he arrived, a dozen other figures stepped out from the cloud mist behind him. The Taoyuan students, Water Bing'er, Shui Bing'er, the Muyuntang sisters, along with Ning Fengji and Chen Xin, who had been nearby the Supreme Pontiff Palace. This was one of Suran's external spirit bone abilities, one of those rare 100,000-year talents, spatial transfer. Suran's face was solemn. He had materialized in the arena in person. As a teacher, he would never ordinarily stand between his students in danger, but his presence now showed how deeply he resented the Supreme Pontiff Palace's manipulation of the matchups. No one in the arena cared about his reasons. They were struck dumb by the sight of him. That peerless appearance, that unearthly beauty, people simply froze. Bibi Dong stepped forward involuntarily. The Supreme Pontiff's scepter trembled in her hand. Her eyes were fixed on him, as if spellbound. The decades of suppressed jealousy, the slow, tangled web of resentment she had carried, surged outward. She hardly knew how long she stood there before her voice trembled. "Who are you? Where did you come from? What do you want?" As the saying went, when the peach immortal's true face appears, the world in look topples a city. The image had literally come alive before her. Suran spoke calmly, breaking the stunned silence of the entire arena. "Taoyuan Academy, teacher Suran. Although a teacher, I'm also a student, 19 years old, representing my academy in this match against the Spirit Hall team." At the VIP viewing area, Yu Xiaogong convulsed. He tried to lurch forward for a better look. As his upper body shifted, he lost balance and toppled, crawling 2 agonized steps before grabbing the railing. He stared through the bars with wide, unbelieving eyes. A torrent of feelings, jealousy, awe, regret, rushed through him. He had so many things he wanted to say, but he could not. "Ooh, woof woof." Overcome, Yu Xiaogang's face flushed and he spat a mouthful of old blood onto the ground. 118. The Pope touches bones, not age, but heart. Chapter 118, Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong's Bone Examination. Not for age, but for the heart. "Teacher? Is that our teacher Suran? Oh my goodness. Teacher is back, and he's so beautiful." When the students finally recovered from their shock and realized the ethereal, peerless young man on the stage was their teacher, every face flushed and eyes shone. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, and Huo Wu, who had already seen their teacher's unrivaled beauty, were still in a daze. He was the same teacher, the same magnificent face, but the unrestrained, carefree air around him seemed stronger than ever. The moment he appeared, all attention in the hall zeroed in on him. Ye Lingling and Dugu Yan, the 2 Taoyuan Academy students, at last understood why their senior sisters clung to teacher as if he were some dream made flesh. Who could resist someone so handsome? Even the usually excitable Shui Bing'er shrieked beside them. Ah! Teacher! So handsome! He's killing me with how handsome he is. Shui Bing'er, I'm losing it. Sister, I told you teacher would be handsome, but I never expected this level of handsome. I'm going to. Teacher Su, this is Teacher Su of Taoyuan Academy's Enlightenment teaching. At that moment, Liu Erlong, exhausted and acting as Ning Rongrong's guardian, fought desperately against the Supreme Pontiff Palace's night squad, trying to carve a path for the Taoyuan students. Having seen through Yu Xiaogong's true nature, she had been close to giving up, ready to perish with the knights. Yet now, when Suran appeared, something in her withered heart stirred. The righteous heart Vajra ring, nearly useless these past 2 days, suddenly began to constrict, making Liu Erlong convulse in pain. Still, her gaze never left Suran's back. He was beautiful. No, too beautiful. Standing there, he looked otherworldly. Teacher Su, only registered students may participate in the Spirit Master competition. Generally, teachers don't meet the age and qualification requirements, the competition host said, drawing a deep breath. He was fortunate to be a man. Otherwise, he might have been reduced to the lovesick swooning of the audience. Professionalism compelled him to remind Suran of the rules. Suran replied lightly, "My name is on the registration list." Teacher Su, the name at the top is for the team leader, but team leaders cannot be competitors, the host insisted. Look again carefully. Taoyuan Academy participant list. Teacher Su Ran, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, the host read aloud, stopping when realization dawned on him. There were indeed two Suran entries. They had assumed it was a copy error and paid it no heed, but with Suran on stage, it became clear the duplicate wasn't a mistake. One entry was literally for Teacher Suran as a registered participant. That's right, Suran said coldly, looking toward the Spirit Hall delegation. He hadn't registered to bully the younger contestants. He'd kept that trump card to guard against any malicious incidents aimed at the girls. Taoyuan Academy had only 7 students and no substitutes. What? The crowd erupted. A 9-ring titled Douluo? With a spirit ring configuration like that, how can he possibly be only 19? If a 9-ring titled Douluo competes, why even continue? Who could possibly win? This defies the history of the continent. No one has ever been a 19-year-old titled Douluo. The host swallowed hard and, to be certain, said, Teacher Su, are you sure you are only 19? To confirm, we must perform a bone examination. Is that acceptable? He asked with all due respect. This was the status of a formidable figure, and even amid disruption, courtesy had to be observed. Suran replied simply, Come. Your Grace, Bishop, please, the host began, turning to a bishop of Spirit Hall when a clear voice cut in. I'll do it myself. Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong descended the steps, unusually excited. No amount of dignified restraint could hide it. She was eager, almost desperate, to examine Suran's bones herself. Yu Xiaogang, momentarily consumed with fury, watched with bloodshot eyes, muttering and screaming inside. No, Donger? Where are you going? I'm the one for you, aren't I, Yu Xiaogang? Come back! But before he could stop her, a Spirit Hall bishop seized him. Take him away immediately and send him out of Spirit City, as far away from here as possible, Bibi Dong ordered, then added, and reclaim his Supreme Pontiff token. Yes, Your Holiness! Yu Xiaogang, dragged off by the bishop, was distraught and spat another mouthful of old blood as he vanished from view. Bibi Dong approached with delicate hands that seemed almost too fair and slender to be real. When those hands touched Suran, a private, almost possessive delight crossed her face. To the onlookers it was palpably indulgent. How wonderful it must be, she thought, if such hands could roam and caress, immortal fingers tracing a carefree body. The thought made her tremble. Your Holiness the Supreme Pontiff, have you confirmed it? Suran asked, maintaining a cool tone. Bibi Dong's fingers rested on Suran's wrist, moving with the same careful attention she'd give a rare artifact. Not yet, she said after a moment. Teacher Su's bones are unusual. This Supreme Pontiff needs more time and contact to determine his bone age. She trailed her hand upward, savoring the sensation of his skin, visibly enthralled. Teacher Su's body, like his face, is utterly charming. His blood pulses hot and strong. His physique is remarkable. However, his right-hand bones suggest an age of over 10,000 years. Did you absorb a spirit bone? Teacher Su, I need to touch your left hand as well. Forgive my crude bone exam technique, she added with an oddly intimate smile. They say the heart bone is the truest indicator of age. May I enter Teacher Su's heart to confirm it? The audience bristled. Murmurs broke out. Is this really a bone examination? Why does it feel like she's taking advantage of our teacher? Ah, I want to touch teacher too. Lick, he looks like he'd taste so good. Shui Bing'er's face had gone red. Even the usually composed Water Bing'er muttered under her breath, astonished at how much she agreed. This is too much. It's a bone exam. Why is she touching him there? Someone hissed. Sister, do you really think teachers have bones there? Another whispered, half embarrassed. Your Holiness the Supreme Pontiff, please have some restraint, someone shouted as Bibi Dong's hand wandered. When her hand drifted too far inward, Suran reacted. He backhanded lightly, catching her wrist in a firm grip. The usual gentleness in his eyes vanished, only coldness remained. He wasn't in the mood for coquettish games. Ah, Teacher Su, you're hurting me, Bibi Dong pretended. Stop the act, Suran said bluntly. With your cultivation, you would feel no pain from such a light touch. Then, Teacher Su, would you prefer me to be rougher? She teased. Bibi Dong, Suran's voice sharpened. Even in anger, he remained impossibly beautiful. Some of the students couldn't help stealing a glance, already sated by the sight. All right, Bibi Dong finally conceded. Teacher Su's age is indeed under 20, which means he meets the competition's age requirement. She took a breath and refocused. If Su Ran really entered the competition, the rest of the matches would be rendered pointless. Smiling a little too brightly, she announced, "However, with Teacher Su's cultivation participating, there's no need to continue the subsequent matches. Spirit Hall Academy concedes." Before, when Spirit Hall faced defeat, Bibi Dong would have protested that Spirit Hall must win, the honor of the Supreme Pontiff Palace and all that. Now she declared losing to Teacher Su's students an honor instead. As the hall buzzed with stunned reactions, a private aside seemed to slip through the moment. This whole spectacle, Su Ran's charisma, the girl's awkward infatuations, was, the narrator suggested, exactly as the story's premise had promised. The lead had a strange aura, and his female disciples harbored improper thoughts toward their teacher. It was all written plainly from the start. Those who complained after more than 100 chapters had been warned by the synopsis. Surrender? Do you expect us to surrender? We followed the rules, but you cheated. Now you demand surrender? That's bullying the weak and fearing the strong. If you have the courage, fight us fair and square. Teacher Su, I think Taoyuan Academy should withdraw from this Spirit Master competition. The organizers can change the rules however they like. There's no fairness left. Ning Rongrong, Huo Wu, Duguyan, and other Taoyuan students rushed onto the stage, grabbing at Teacher Su's sleeve and forming a protective circle around him, trying to separate him from Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong. That woman was shameless, worse than Yu Xiaogo. She'd used the bone-touching age assessment as an excuse to get close to Teacher Su. We haven't even had a chance to do that ourselves. And then she had the nerve to demand a surrender? Their outrage boiled over. Shu Yu's misty eyes flashed with baffled indignation as she muttered, "Fairness? If I got to touch Teacher Su too, that'd be fair. Heh." Bibi Dong glanced coldly at Ning Rongrong and the others, trying to exert her usual aura of authority. The effect faded, though, as it reached Su Ran. He stepped forward and spoke quietly, but clearly enough for the arena to hear. "The girls are right. What I despise most is underhanded plotting. Your Supreme Pontiff Palace changed the venue and trapped my students so they couldn't compete, all to eliminate them and make a clear path for your Spirit Hall team, didn't you? If the rules can be changed on a whim, then I propose two options. First, I will represent Taoyuan Academy in the remaining matches, and there will be no surrendering without a fight. Or second, we replay the quarterfinals, a fair draw for all teams with no human interference." Su Ran's voice was calm, but it carried. The Plant Academy teachers were the first to stand. "If there was foul play involved, I agree with Teacher Su's request to replay the quarterfinals," their leader said. "Otherwise, this competition loses any claim to fairness. Plant Academy won't continue under these conditions." Without Su Ran's guidance, Plant Academy might never have reached the semifinals. He had taken 3 of their best students, and in return, brought great honor. Now, with his face revealed beneath the mask, the team leaders were visibly stirred. Not just by his strength, but by his looks. The women in the arena found themselves transfixed, hearts fluttering. But the memory of the 9 shocking spirit rings he displayed earlier quickly restored their respect to admiration. He was the Prince Charming they'd dreamed of, peerless in both appearance and power. "All right," Bibi Dong said, taking a deliberate breath and putting on a contrite tone that surprised everyone. She made a small, somewhat theatrical bow towards Su Ran. "I have made a wrong judgment based on slander. The Supreme Pontiff Palace has indeed wronged Taoyuan Academy. I offer a 10,000-year spirit bone and 100,000 gold coins as compensation. On behalf of the palace, I apologize to Taoyuan Academy's teachers and students. Please forgive us." The arena was stunned. The usually proud Supreme Pontiff had bowed and offered generous recompense. Ning Rongrong immediately half-covered Su Ran's eyes, cheeks puffed in exaggerated distress. "Don't look! Don't look, Teacher Su. Don't be taken in by her tricks," she hissed. "She's terrible. How many ways does she have to seduce people?" Huo Wu whispered to the others with equal parts envy and rage. Shui Bing'er pouted and cast longing glances, blowing kisses from a distance. Half an hour later, all the teams had returned to the Duhun Arena of the Supreme Pontiff Palace. The teams eliminated in the original quarterfinals had not yet left Spirit City and were urgently recalled. To make amends, the Supreme Pontiff Palace gave each team 5,000 gold coins and a formal apology. Prize money for the champions, runners-up, and third place was doubled. Spirit Hall honorary badges were awarded. Normally, only the top 3 teams received awards, but now prizes were extended to the top 8 in descending order to cushion the disruption. Everyone was astonished by Bibi Dong's public humility. Whatever had changed her, it had changed her decisively. Gossip swept the arena when the Tianshui and Plan Academy members swept their gazes toward Taoyuan's waiting area. Shui Wu, Chu Ruoshui, Gu Qingbo, and others stared in disbelief, then bombarded Water Bing'er, Shui Yuer, and Mu Yunju with questions. Who is that man from Taoyuan Academy? Is he a disciple of teacher Su Ran? Why didn't you tell us Taoyuan had such a handsome student? Is that why you all followed teacher Su Ran? Can I snatch him as my boyfriend? Does he have one? It doesn't matter, he's too handsome. The captain's faces darkened. That's not a classmate, that's our teacher Su Ran. What? Teacher Su? The girls were flabbergasted. The rematch draw proceeded. This time, without Spirit Hall's obstruction, the results were announced fairly and quickly. Quarterfinals rematch, the host called. The teams receiving byes, Plant Academy and Spirit Hall Academy. The first match drawn was the one everyone wanted to see. Taoyuan Academy versus Star Luo Royal Academy's seeded team. The announcer's eyes kept flicking toward Su Ran. The competition had become secondary to the intrigue around him. On a tall building outside the Supreme Pontiff Palace, Qian Renxue stood in a gold dress, a look of disappointment on her face. Sigh. She had planned everything perfectly. She'd even brought 2 titled Douluo along, intending to stage a dramatic rescue. She'd expected Bibi Dong to fight back hard, and then arrange for her champions to step in and save the day, a daring beauty rescuing teacher Su, forever binding him to her. That would have made her the irreplaceable angelic disciple in his heart. She would have told teacher Su, proudly, "With me here, no one will dare hurt you." It would have melted him. Perfect. Flawless. Instead, Bibi Dong had backed down, or rather she'd chosen a different kind of tactic, a seductive surrender rather than an open fight. Qian Renshue's carefully plotted spectacle was ruined. He's mine, she thought bitterly, nursing the sting of a plan foiled by a different sort of boldness. Chapter 120, The Hell White Tiger's Nightmare, 9 Nether Spirit Cat, 10 Halls of Yama, Daiwasi, Spirit White Tiger, Level 49, Attack Type Battle Spirit Master. Zhu Spirit Hell Civet, Level 47, Agility Attack Type Battle Spirit Master. Ying Wei, Spirit Inflated Buffalo, Level 44, Attack Type Battle Spirit Master. Tang Hongwei, Spirit Blazing Lightning Leopard, Level 43, Agility Attack Type Battle Spirit Master. Li Yang, Spirit Mirror of Reflection, Level 42, Defense Type Battle Spirit Master. Yang Xin, Spirit Ring of Flowing Water, Level 41, Support Type Spirit Master. Yang Hui, Spirit Ring of Flowing Water, Level 41, Support Type Spirit Master. The spirit power levels of the Star Luo Royal Academy team were close to those of Taoyuan Academy's students, but their average level was still a bit lower. Given Taoyuan Academy's performances so far, victory seemed likely. On the arena, Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Weici from Star Luo Royal Academy stared at Zhu Zhuqing with complicated expressions. Zhu Zhuqing sneered. "Sister, it seems that leaving the Star Luo Empire did you good. You really got lucky to find such a teacher." Dai Weici added with venom. "No matter how good your team is, it won't help. You'll still have to marry my worthless younger brother and be dragged down by him." Speaking of him, he betrayed his country, joined Heaven Dew Royal Academy's team, got crippled in the first match, and is hiding somewhere now. Once I tell Father Emperor about this, both of you will be severely punished. Zhu Zhuqing tossed her hair. "Don't worry, sister. Who said my brother is useless? But for teacher Su's sake, even if Weici takes the throne, I'll go easy on you." She glanced at Su Ran behind the Taoyuan Academy team, who watched calmly. Jealousy and a touch of infatuation shone in her eyes. Su Ran was undeniably beautiful. If Zhu Zhuqing hadn't been promised in marriage as a child, she might have acted like the other girls, losing herself over him. How unlucky for Zhu Qing to have been taken from Star Luo to become the disciple of such an extraordinary teacher. The taunts changed the expressions of several Taoyuan students. They looked at Zhu Zhuqing solemnly. This match clearly meant a lot to her. Wang Sheng stepped forward and said in a low voice, "So she's senior sister Zhuqing's elder sister. My apologies. But Taoyuan Academy lives by one motto: control your own fate. If senior sister Zhuqing doesn't want to marry Dai Mubai, no one can force her. We'll help her." Ning Rongrong nodded. She'd known Zhuqing for years. Despite later rivalries over their teacher, they were still senior and junior sisters. "Does that crippled toad Dai Mubai even deserve my junior sister? The Star Luo throne, empress, concubine. Zhuqing doesn't care for any of it." "Exactly. She doesn't care," the others echoed. Zhu Zhuqing glanced back at teacher Su Ran, who gave her a faint smile. Her face, usually cold, warmed a few shades. "Zhuqing, go with your heart. No matter how you choose to fight, your teacher supports you." Her teacher's words gave Zhu Zhuqing confidence. She stepped forward to the front of the team and addressed her Taoyuan Academy comrades. "Senior and junior siblings, you know something of the trouble between Dai Mubai and me. For this match, I will be willful. I will face Dai Weici and Zhu Zhuyun alone. This is the grudge from the marriage alliance between the Dai and Zhu families of Star Luo. In my home, the strong speak for themselves. Dai Mubai and I have already gone our separate ways, but I can fight 2 against 1. If I win, it will be proof that I can control my own destiny." She bowed to her 6 teammates, Ning Rongrong, Huo Wu, Ye Lingling, Du Guyan, Meng Yuran, and Wang Sheng. Ning Rongrong answered, "I agree with your plan, Zhuqing. Go, we've got your back." Du Guyan, Meng Yuran, and the others stared at the Star Luo royal team. "Leave the rest of them to us," Du Guyan said. "We'll make an arena that belongs to you." The Taoyuan students sobered. The excitement at their teacher's presence faded into unity and focus. They bickered and competed for favors sometimes, but they were a team. This was exactly the unity their teacher wanted to see. Across the arena, Zhu Zhuyan scoffed. "Sister, even if you joined Taoyuan Academy and grew stronger, can you still stand alone against the entire imperial family and clan? Impossible. Accept your fate. Your Taoyuan Academy may be strong. Maybe your Peach Immortal teacher taught you powerful martial soul fusion techniques, but that doesn't mean you can handle 2 of us. Not when Weici and I fight together." Zhu Zhuyan's elegance matched Zhu Zhuqing's, but she looked older, more composed. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing step up to face both of them surprised her. Zhu Zhuqing hadn't stood out much in earlier rounds. She'd been overshadowed by Ning Rongrong and Du Guyan, and had rarely appeared in the one-on-one elimination matches. The Star Luo team's biggest impression from Taoyuan had been how they used a martial soul fusion skill to overturn Tianshui Academy's fusion before the rematch. That had been unexpected because martial soul fusion wasn't supposed to be Taoyuan's forte. It suggested that the cultivation methods of Taoyuan's 7 members had been kept hidden. Perhaps Su Ran had been waiting for the right moment for Zhu Qing to face her destiny herself. Only one sentence Zhu Qing's teacher had spoken the day she became his disciple echoed in her mind. "Don't complain about unfair destiny." What you must learn here is self-improvement. When you truly trust your strength and truly become powerful, the clan and imperial family will no longer chain you. They'll cling to you. 9 Nether Spirit Cat. Possession. Zhu Zhuqing didn't waste words. She activated her spirit possession. A dark purple, flowing light poured out behind her like a faint nether river. Her whole being seemed honed by the 9 nethers. Her aura surged, incomparably stronger than a hell civet's. Her spirit rose from a common spirit to a peak spirit. Facing the 9 nether spirit cat's presence, Zhu Zhuyan actually felt something like bloodline oppression. "Zhu Zhuyan, it's time to settle what's between us," Zhu Zhuqing said. With a thunderous boom, 4 spirit rings manifested: yellow, purple, and black. They did not appear on her body, though. Instead, they coiled around the Yama pagoda behind her. A ferocious statue of Yama crawled out from the structure, terrifying and imposing. "Since you know my teacher is extraordinary, why do you still only think of martial soul fusion?" Zhu Zhuqing said coldly. "My teacher's abilities have long surpassed your imaginings. The reason the clan and imperial family forced that marriage alliance is because the Zhu and Dai children naturally have spirit fusion potential. The Hell White Tiger's power released from that fusion far outstrips 2 spirit masters of equal level. If I can defeat the Hell White Tiger alone, why would I need others? Her voice carried the weight of someone who had fled the Star Luo Empire and been hunted by those who called her sister. If fate hadn't smiled on her, she might have died long ago. Becoming a disciple at Taoyuan gave her the courage and strength to confront her destiny herself. Now it was time to settle her old grievances. 10 halls of Yama, Black Rope Great Hell.